Didn't make me, man. Just did a shower. I'm live. That's my research team in the background. I know there's nobody there right now, but you'll all be watching this later on. So you will. And I started realising when you do a live, you think, oh, it's alive. But it's a video. I mean, it becomes a video. I'm unembarrassable. That's my research team in the background, guys. I'm gonna go all 2C, so I am. Old Paul Thorpe and that. You know what I mean? Well, maybe not much Paul, but 2C, he's got a wee team around him, doesn't he? You know. Joe Rogan, he just sits there and goes up, put this up, you know what I mean? And he's got, and you never see whoever it is doing it. You never see them. You know, if I had a wee studio like that, and there was a couple of us, they'd have to be on screen. You know, I'd have to have them on screen. You know what I mean? You couldn't just have them sitting there out of the way. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So got Tulip here. Bring that down a wee touch. Tulip. Hey, say hello, Tulip. Yeah, Tulip's quite famous. Tulip is as famous as I am in this. You know what I mean? You know, if Tulip didn't make an appearance in one of my live, you know, my followers would be having words with me, like, when you guys. So I know you all can't comment, guys. So whoever's in, thanks for the thumbs up. If you hear me, okay. If everything's okay, give me a wee like. You know, give us a wee like, guys. If you're there, if you're able to hit that wee thumbs button, if you're on your phone or if you're watching it on the TV, wee bit early. Baby's just feeding in the background. Yeah, maybe get a wee lucky in a wee bit. We'll see. She behaves herself. Evening, John. How you, son? How you been doing? Hope you're okay. John Capone, my main man. Yes, John's a friend, an old friend from over the road. So, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I have friends on here, guys, right? And I'm not kidding you on, right? TikTok as well. And guys I've known all my life, and I'm talking to them, and I don't even know it's them because they've got different names. They've got either a nickname or they've just got a complete bogus name. You know what I mean? And they're talking to me and they're calling me Sparky and Mark. You know, like, and I'm just thinking because I mentioned many of them on here that he's pick it up, so he's calling me that in comments and stuff. But no, it turns out like 5 months been talking to one of my best mates and they didn't even realise it. You know what I mean? And yeah, so any of my mates are, you know, you need to tell me, guys, you know what I mean? And the work, I know most of them won't watch it because they're too long. You know, most of my mates are like, they're too long. They're far too long. I haven't got a half an hour in my day to watch your videos, which is totally understandable. You know what I mean? Totally understandable, guys. Just did a shower, so there's a mess. There's Tulip. So 10 people in, 2 thumbs up. So hope you're all good, guys. Just wait for an hour for you to come in. Just going to talk about today, what happened today, just with my. Give us a thumbs up, guys, if you can hear it okay. In the comment, anybody, it's our Capone, if you want to give us, let me know you can hear me all right. No problems, no buzzing noises or anything. Yeah, I done a full video, guys, and like really good video. Quite tough with it, so it was. Basically just talking about what was in my head, what was going on in the world, you know. And one of the big ones obviously was this advert that was put out by the Welsh. Who are they, like the Welsh Refugee Council or something like that? I don't even know why they exist, why we need this sort of thing, you know. But I imagine it will be people that have came to this country that are in this organization, and you know, I'm not going to sit here and say like that. I'm not going to totally crucify these guys, you know what I mean? Because hi, Lucy, thanks for popping in, mate. I'm not going to crucify them here because, you know, maybe it was an oversight you know, it's hard to get my head around. Everybody I've shown it to are just in shock. Everybody I've shown it to are in absolute shock because, like, I don't say nothing. I just go, "Have you seen what's going on about the internet?" And they go, "What is it?" And I go, "It's an advertisement for refugees to come to this country from some Welsh refugee council in Wales. Whether it's sanctioned by the government, I'm not 100% sure, but boom." And they're just jaw. You see their jaw hitting their chin hitting their chest. I'm not exaggerating. You. Every single person are absolutely shocked. So you've got to ask yourself the question, guys. You know, was there malicious? Was it done maliciously? Was there? Is it what we a lot of people are saying? You know what I mean? And like, or, another question is, are you far right because you're thinking like that? You know what I mean? I've heard that getting passed about today. Everybody's like, oh, it's just an advert for refugees. You know what I mean? It's yous are making a big deal of it. You know, we're sitting in a minute at the minute, right, going through another grooming gang epidemic in Great Britain that were specifically targeting school children. There's no two ways about it, and I think because that's the general, the general opinion of everybody right now. That's can see that's pretty shocked at what's already going on in the country, and obviously with Elon Musk highlighting it. Well, most of us have been like most of my followers have been here for years and been obviously been getting silenced on Facebook and all the other platforms, just like I have. You know what I mean? I know when I'm here doing this, I'm speaking on behalf of my followers. My followers are all Generation X. They're all people exactly like me. I'm just able to talk, and get my voice out there. But I'm only echoing the voices of all my followers, and that's there's no two ways about that. So yeah, it's quite shocking, guys. It is quite shocking, and yeah, it just highlights the craziness of the situation that we're in. You know, and I'll just catch up with these. It's all sounded they're saying, "Thank you. I got called for right today because I didn't have the jibby jabby." It's that's mental. That is nuts, Lucy. Becoming as bad as the Roosters. Yeah, it is. So I the thing, and what we're talking about when we do that. It's like you can't mention it. I got a video. I got what is it? You get told off, restricted. I don't know what they done. You know what I mean? But video removed and everything. And I just happened to mention it. You know, in one of my videos, and like yeah, it is really really sad. And that people like because I really haven't looked into it that much. You got to understand, I never took it. Okay, at the end of the day, my wife died of COVID at the very start of COVID before everybody was on lockdown. So I had no intentions of doing anything apart from grieving, like anybody would loses a loved one. So I never got it because of that. You know what I mean? But if I had people around me pushing me to get it, I probably would have got it, guys. You know what I mean? I could have been put under pressure. Like if my partner and the mother-in-law were around then and had said to me, "Oh, you better get it. It'd be a good idea." I probably would have just, because I don't want to put anybody else in danger. So, but the thing is that we don't know any better. That's the thing, guys. We don't know any better. We all went on what the government told us. We were all going on what celebrities were telling us. We were all going on people, influential people with lots and lots of money who were telling us that you've got to get it. If you don't get it, you're in trouble and you're bad. And people were getting told that they were going to get sacked. They were going to get fired. You know what I mean? Um, she's sleeping now. I've left. She's out cold, guys. She's out cold. But no, it's yeah. And I don't know what's happening. I know he's ever seen this guy. Can't mind his name. He's meant to be joining Reform. He owns the he owns a plumbing. He's a multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire probably. Become as bad as yeah. Yeah. Wee bit bunkers. Wee bit bunkers. That's a brilliant name, mate. Wee bit bunkers. That's not a good name. Wee bit bunkers. So, do you want to do you want to get your phone and see if I come up on yours and if you can see my comments, so then I can relax. I think it's in the I think it's in the kitchen. They think they're funny. He's Charlie Mullins. Yes, thank you, Lucy. Charlie Mullins. He fucking I don't care what he said. I know what he said out to everybody, but it's what he said to his employees. That's the bad gen, But also, to play the devil's advocate, guys, it's, if I can sit here and justify us getting it, or not me, but other people around me that got it because they were told to get it and they were threatened and made to feel if you didn't get it, you were bad, maybe he felt that as well. Maybe the advice he got from the, we can't have one rule for us and another rule for another person. So nobody's actually brought that up. Everybody's crucifying the guy. I'm not saying he's not a nice guy. A cup of tea. I'd love a cup of tea, please. He's not a nice guy. We know he's not a nice guy. 100%, he's not a nice guy. But I'm not a nice guy. At the end of the day, and when I say he's not a nice guy, he probably is a nice guy. He's just done some dodgy stuff. You know what I mean? And who am I to judge anybody that way? So I'm not going to slag the guy off completely. You know, I don't know enough about him. I have heard stuff. You know what I mean, from people close to me that know him. So but that's good evening. I don't know why. Good evening, Vanda. All right, John. Good to see you, son. But you know, I don't like just going on the fact that somebody says to me about somebody, then I'm just going to repeat that on here. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do that. But, obviously everybody hears all different rumors and all that. But, there's nothing that jumps out at me at the minute that concerns me as, at the end of the day, what do you want from him? This is what you got to remember. We all judge people, but then you've got to ask yourself, what do you want from people? What's your, if you're going to say, oh, what's he wanting to come into reform for? He's done this, that, and the other, and he was, and I get it with the Brexit and all that, right? But I also think, people change. People do change. You know what I mean? People make mistakes in life. I'm quite sure there's people that thought Brexit was a good idea and changed their mind, and there's people that didn't think it was a good idea have changed their mind. You know what I mean? And obviously people have stuck to it. And you know what I mean? But everybody can change their mind. Everybody can make mistakes. You know what I mean? And yeah, he's a bit of a playboy and all the rest of it. But I'm not gonna judge him for that. So I'm just gonna leave that at that. That's my opinion on Charlie Mullen, because all I've heard is people slagging the guy off completely. I know he's no the flavour of the month. I know he's a bit of a skulldugger. All multi-millionaires are have got there by being legal. But believe you me, you're not gonna be a millionaire in this country by doing it legally. Everybody knows that. You know what I mean? It's a common joke amongst people, like you know. Um, it's just the way it is. The richest men in the world have ripped people off to get where they are. And there's no two ways about it. And that's why it's always ironic when they say stuff about Tommy Robinson and all that. You're like, and Nigel Farage and all that. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, come on, man, you're no squeaky clean. You know that. We know that. All right, legally we can't prove it. You've got away with it, all the rest of it. You know what I mean? But we're no stupid. People aren't stupid. Um, yeah, but yeah. So anyway, I was covering stuff like that in the video, and it was like going down. I also was talking about now. So if you've got your phones with these guys, if you're watching this on TV, grab your phones, and if not, grab a wee pen and paper, because I just want to. This is all I was saying on the video. So I seen, I don't know where it was, but something came up a bit from the Home Office, and it was like, I can't remember what it was, but it was like a bit weird. You know what I mean? It was just the whole thing was weird. You know what I mean? In a way, it didn't make any sense. It did make sense, but it just wasn't. It came. I think it was because as well it said Home Office spokesman. And I'm like, who's a Home Office spokesman? You know what I mean? If you're going to get a message from the Home Office of the government, it'll be like Keir Starmer or whatever department of that particular thing it is. You know what I mean? Um, I just think having faceless, like anonymous quotes and comments coming from somewhere like the Home Office, I think we expect better. So what I did was, all I did was Google. So just Google Home Office employee or Home Office spokespeople or Home Office workers or Home Office staff. And, the first picture you come up, I found was like just a picture of diversity. To be honest with you, lots of women with the head gowns and all that on, and there was Indian, Pakistani, I imagine there was probably Iraqis and Syrians, and I don't know all the different dresses and how because each dress represents different parts of the world. I imagine, like African dress as well. They can tell what part of Africa you're from. But I was just blown away because it's a Home Office. The Home Office is meant to be like, secure. This is, I always thought anyway. So I've had lots of dealings with home offices, and it's always right up there with security stuff. And that's the truth, like wanting to get moved from jails. You know what I mean? Trying to get transfers. You know what I mean? Because like my life's in danger. I was at home office. You know what I mean? Like when I was in Aylesbury. I was in a really bad situation. You know what I mean? Because me and I told you about the other Irish boy, the IRA man, that was in with me. And like I say, we were 18, 19 at the time, and yeah, it all kicked off. He got shipped out. I was down the digger, and I was in a bad situation, like in a really bad situation, and I needed moved up north, sharpish, and so I've said to him, listen, I'm in problems here. You know what I mean? Because of who I am, my unionism, the Britishness. You know what I mean? Because and it was like, I'm not going to go into it too much, but it wasn't good, and put in for a transfer, and I got knocked back. You know, um, obviously I got the transfer, but I ended up having to assault a prison officer. You know what I mean? And I got exactly what I wanted. Moved up north, into Birmingham. But and Aylesbury was a jail on its own. I've spoke to you about it, guys. It was a long-term jail for young offenders, just outside London. It was 70% black, and in my experience in life, these guys are the most racist people I've ever came across. These particular criminals from this London, they were just, and don't get me wrong, there was good guys, you know what I mean? There was good guys, but on the whole, their language and the way they spoke and the way they treated white people was, was they just, and I'm gonna say racism, guys. It was. I don't like using the word racism. They were just really nasty, evil people. Who just if no matter what you were, you're different. They would have picked if you were ginger, if you were white, if you were gay, whatever. What I mean, if you weren't the same as them, they were just hateful people, and that's just all it is. You know what I mean? They would just go through life hating on people, and that's what it was an experience for me because I'd never experienced anything like that before. I come from a country where there is no oh brilliant, oh happy days. Should never put the border down the Irish Sea. I know, John. So that's brilliant. I've got the comments here, so I don't need because they're not coming up. They're not coming up, guys. Um, he was a Remainer. Yeah, that's right, Lucy. Crack on with Charlie Mullins, but you're unfollowed. Freedom, crack on with Charlie Mullins, but you're unfollowed. Well, that's the good thing about this. You know what I mean? There's no two ways about it. There's no point following somebody if you don't, if one bit of their opinion upsets you. You know what I mean? I can't, you know, I wouldn't want anybody following me like that because it's just going to cause trouble. At the end of the day, we've all got different opinions. I'm being fair. It's a YouTube channel. I'm in a position where I don't want to target people, and I don't want to use a platform like this to just really go ahead with somebody that I know nothing about the guy. I'm hearing rumors and bits and pieces, but I've really looked into it, and he's flamboyant. He's a bit of a playboy, but he voted for Remain. You know what I mean? And he went down the road of that. But how many people do you know went down the road of that? You know what I mean? And people were convinced. The government did tell everybody that was. Some people did believe it. And I don't think we should crucify everybody. He should have kept his mouth shut. But I do think people make mistakes. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying he should be in reform. I'm not saying I support the guy. I'm just giving you my opinion, guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, Holloway. So that's London. I think it is. I can't really remember. It rings a bell. It was where Mara Hindley was, wasn't it? Let me see. I need that to go up a wee bit bunkers. I'm just missing the. What do you think about the compensating Jerry Adams? I need to see. I've just missed that wee bit, man. I can't see it. Let me check on here because this is new. Yeah, London. What do you think about the talk of compensating Jerry Adams? Yeah, I thought they got compensated with the bank robbery. You know what I mean? That's honestly, like, I honestly thought that 53 million that they got from the Northern Bank was their payday. You know, 2 seconds, guys. Yeah, so At compensation for what? You know what I mean? He was whacked 7 times, you know what I mean, guys? You know what I mean? You know, Grug whacked him. Well, you know, Grug's dead now. God rest his soul, you know what I mean, guys? Listen, guys, whether you're a Catholic, Protestant, Republican, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, we remember our dead, you know what I mean? You don't expect me not to, you know what I mean? So even Grug was different from me, but, you know, I still a lot of time for the guy and, you know, met him a couple of times, didn't know him. Just knew him through growing up, you know what I mean? And, yeah, 7 times. I'm sure it was 7 times he got whacked. They pulled up on the motorbike beside him, and Jerry Adams went up into the roof. I know, like, you know, to give him credit, like, you know what I mean? Who else would have thought to go up into the roof? You know what I mean? So imagine sitting in the back of a car and a motorbike pulls up and you see a machine gun. You know, what's the first thing you're going to do? The first thing I would have done was hit the deck. You know what I mean? He went up into the roof of the car, so he only got shot in the nether region, so he got a couple in the stomach and the legs, and you know, I don't know many. I'm sure it was 7 rounds he took in the bottom regions. None of his torso was hit because he put his whole body up into the roof, like I say. So I don't know if it's maybe that he's getting the compensation for. I thought that would have been done ages ago, but I don't know, mate. What's your thoughts on Tommy Robinson taking 30 grand donation for the Tate brothers? You know, well, first of all, there's two. That's a double-edged thing in it. So first of all, I'm not going to judge Tommy Robinson taking any money from anybody. At the end of the day, all help is like, you know, if you're in a situation where it's costing you millions and millions, and you're having and I'm just talking legal cases, and then you're talking millions again on security. Um, Having to relocate all the time and making sure your family is secure and your kids are secure, that all costs an awful lot of money. And there's a lot goes with that. You can't have routine. They can't just go to, you know, they can't just have a normal life. You know what I mean? So when you live your life and you can't have any routine in it at all, it costs a wee bit more money. So I'm not gonna definitely not gonna question anything. It doesn't make a difference to me who wants to donate. Everybody's got a heart, and if they feel in their heart they've got money there and they think in that moment, whatever they've watched, whatever they've seen, whatever they've read in that moment, they're going, you know what? I'm going to give this man X amount of money. I'm not going to judge anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. We can't control who wants to give Tommy money. And second of all, the Tate brothers, you know, I'll be for honest, the Tate brothers have done an amazing amount of work for men and men's health. But with saying that, I have to make it clear I do not support them. And the only reason I don't support them is because um, on one side, they've done a lot of good for men's health and for getting men out of bed and giving men, a lot of men were struggling. We had a very high suicide rate for young men, and they played a big part in bringing that down, guys. And there's no two ways about it. You know, I can't bring receipts to that, but I just know the way everything was, and I know how many young men followed them, and I know the kind of content he was putting out to these young men. He was making these young men strong individuals. You know what I mean? Now my problem is the women part. What he done whenever he was starting off with the webcam business and he was pretending to be women to other men. Now, most of these men would have been vulnerable. All right, they would have had money in the bank, but it could have been their life savings. You know what I mean? And I imagine some of them would have been vulnerable. Some of them would have probably have been married for many years and lost their loved ones and found themselves lost, going on a computer, and then meeting who they think is a girl when it's really Andrew Tate pretending to be a girl and milking them dry. And he admits that, you know what I mean? I'm only telling you what he says. And because of that, I can never support the man, you know what I mean? And it is difficult because there's just that one thing, but that in my eyes is unforgivable. You know, there's many ways of making money in this world, and fleecing somebody, conning somebody, uh, I honestly believe is the lowest form because you don't know that person, you don't know where they are in life, they don't know what they've been through in life, and you don't know how much money they've got truly left. You could have took every penny off them. Them men could have been drove to suicide because of the Tate brothers, and that's the reason I don't support the Tate brothers, guys. Tommy has lost a lot because of his activism, so anything he gets is well deserved. Yeah, definitely. There's people. It's very easy for people to speak the way they speak about Tommy because of money, and you know there is a lot of jealousy. You know, what I mean, on both sides, right and left. But you got to remember this, guys. you've got to try and put yourself in his shoes, living the life he now has to live because of his activism. And even though he's blew up in the last 6 months, you know what I mean, Tommy Robinson has exploded in the last 6 months, and more so in the last 2 months, and even more so in the last month. And we could go down to a couple of weeks, and Tommy Robinson is like SpaceX took off, guys. You know, so at the end of the day, what Tommy went through before that, having to deal with being outside, is going to be more difficult now. Anywhere he goes, he's going to be recognised. And he is always a target. There is always men planning and plotting to unalive him, without a doubt. There will be active operatives dedicated to trying to target him. You know, there's no two ways about it. Maybe not all the time, but there will be one doing it then, whatever, if the police get on top. But we know that the police have gotten on top of a couple of them. You know what I mean? We know that one group went away for an awful long time, hundreds of years, 20 odd plus years each. Um, you know, so, you know, anybody that gets, you know, for want of a better word, that scalp, you know, they're going to be a martyr. You know, they're going. It'll be like if for us, like with loyalism and republicanism, you know, what I mean, you know, guys that done things back in our day, you know, if anything ever happened to them, you know, what I mean, there were songs wrote about them. Their portraits were painted on our gable ends. You know, it's the same sort of thing, but a lot bigger, because you got to understand Catholics and Protestants is a small wee thing in 6 counties in Northern Ireland, well, preaches in the Southern Ireland, but you know, Islam and the extremism is worldwide. You know what I mean? It's all over the world, so it's a big deal. You know, Tommy Robinson is now a worldwide well-known figure, and he's also being portrayed as a hateful figure, an anti-Muslim figure. You know, so this is what people believe. People, you know, around the world, people that can't be arse researching it, they just see him they see the rhetoric of the Labour Party, hope not hate, Nick Knowles, end racism, the trade unionist, you know, all the usual suspects, portraying Tommy as a really bad person, a criminal, far right, racist. And people believe that. That goes out to some dangerous ears, you know what I mean? And, you know, that's the problem, you know, and this is the thing as well. They're putting a man's life at risk. Now, if I was to behave like that, or if you were to behave like that and start getting on like that about somebody and constantly going on right wing platforms and constantly like telling people how lies about somebody that they make everybody turn against them, you know what I mean? That can be seen as conspiracy, especially if anything happens to that person. You know, I would get dragged into a conspiracy charge, you know what I mean? But it's double figures, you know. And every one of us would, but they seem to get away with it, guys. They seem to get away with saying whatever they want about Tommy. And no matter how serious it is, Nick Lowe's, you seen what he got away with. You know, I'm not going to go into it because it's kind of heartbreaking. So it is like, um, Tommy's a lot because assessments. I don't like this pay. They don't. Epstein. Yeah, no. So I'll cover that wee bit, guys. I'm just going to double check, make sure I'm getting all these. I've seen something come up. Right, 2 seconds. I've missed a couple, guys. Right, let's play. Yep, got that. But the legal system, police, media, politics established work hard and glove, and rest hard to beat the system. Trump, exception. Thank you, Shani. Tommy will never lead a normal life now in Britain. They'll even make his restrictions taken and released. Yeah, well, that's a good point. That's a good point, Capone. I think I've paused this, have I? No, I haven't. Yeah, so when Tommy gets out, they will be able to put restrictions. They won't let him out without restrictions. So when I got out, I couldn't go back to Northern Ireland, and I wasn't. I've got the paperwork. I'll dig it out sometime and show you. It's just for out of interest. I've got all my paperwork, so I have, and everything I talk about in prison, all my charges, being in solitary confinement, my fight to try and get out of solitary confinement and all that. I've got all the paperwork, my letters to the Home Office and everything. You know what I mean? So I've got all that, and yeah. So I wasn't allowed to go back to Northern Ireland. That was part of the conditions of me getting out earlier, and I wasn't allowed to go back in the Orange Order. Not that I was going to, you know what I mean. I wasn't having no intentions. Like, you know what I mean. My relationship with the Orange Order broke down a long time ago, but I wasn't allowed in a flute band. I wasn't allowed to go and see the flute bands. You know, that was my life. You know what I mean. Flute bands was everything to me. You know, so that was a hard one, and a few other stupid ones. I can't mind them all. I need to dig them out. But then just the usual ones that go along with license and getting out. Um, yeah, so yeah, he is going to have a lot of conditions, and that's a dodgy bit as well, like having conditions, you know. Hi, Michael. Welcome aboard. We're amazing community. Yeah, honestly, we're just like-minded souls, guys, aren't we? Um, you can see what the Labour MP are up to and walk free and Tommy lock up. I know, 50 odd, 50 odd. So everybody say hello to Michael, please. Michael Powers. Um, yeah, 50 odd Labour. You know, you all know if you know because like you just watch my videos and that, guys, and like I do go on about politicians, and I do like don't like doing it, guys. You know, what I mean, I really don't. To be honest with you, it does worry me, especially with we lucky here. And I do have all these mad thoughts. I do have some really, really mad thoughts. You know, things that just they could do, and you wouldn't be any the wiser. You know, I say to Katie, like, you know what I mean? It's like you can just disappear, and you know everybody be like, "Oh, where's he gone?" And everybody will get the point, you know what I mean? Because I have enemies, you know what I mean? I've got, you know, I've had a few attempts in my life in the past, so you know there is fingers that could be pointed. You know, not really, you know what I mean? But if there was a suspicion of anything happened to me, you know, you could imagine, guys, you know what I mean? They'd be pointing fingers at here, there, and everywhere, and you just wouldn't be pointing fingers at the government, would you? You know, so things like that worry me. You know, what I mean, I always say like I'm not suicidal. You know that I'm a happy, really happy person. Yes, I have bad times and go down with mental health and all that, but yeah, I'm a really. I would never ever. If I was going to do it, you know, I would have done it by now. Geez, oh, I'm in the best place I've ever been in my life. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, it does worry me when I talk about it, guys. And yes, I do talk about it because of what I've been through in the children's home and what I've seen. Thanks for the welcome. I have sympathy for you, my friends in the UK. Thank you. Where are you from, Michael? Um, so yeah, it's just because of what I know, guys. But can you imagine how many there was back in the 70s? Think about that for a wee while. Just think about that. If that's what it's like now, today, in this age of knowledge where everybody knows everything about you, everybody can check you out. You know, you can't hide. You can't have cut skeletons in the closet in this day and age. Can you imagine how many Rungians there was in the politicians back in the day? Now that is what I've been trying to explain. People don't understand how bad it was. Now it's okay for me to sit here and go, yeah, back in the day, they 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 went around children's homes and took out what kids that they fancied, and some of them never came back. Some of them came back with horrific stories, and it was spread about children's homes like wildfire. Members of staff used to threaten us and tell us horror stories about it that make us scared. You know what I mean? It was like the bogeyman. And like I said, these guys, you know, this is the most important thing you've got to understand because this means a lot to me. You know, the men, the men when I was a wee boy, the men that lifted me over the turnstiles when I was 7 and 8 and 9 years old to get into Watts Linfield, right? So I didn't have to pay back. It was just turnstiles. Them men and women, mostly men back in, you know that anyway. I'm not gonna go down the thing even, you know. At the end of the day, it was mostly men. I can't remember seeing any women at the football when I was a wee boy. You know, sorry, but you know that was the way it was then. And them men at them football games used to sing a song about a politician called Cecil Smith, and I wish to God somebody could remember it and sing it, whistle it, because that's all I need. I just need reminder, you know. Um, Michigan, oh, brilliant, nice one. I have a really good friend called Dan. Um, I'm not going to say where he's from because I get it wrong, you know. America's so big, you know what I mean? 51 states, is it? Is it 51, 52? Oh, I'm going to get in trouble for that. But yeah. So I'm trying to. Right, so yeah. Kincora was the home, the great, not good, often visit. Yeah, see, Northern Ireland and Ireland had its own problems. This is the thing. It was rife. It was rife for some reason. Now, I have looked into it and I've tried to work away. I've tried to find out what happened, you know, because, you know, when you look back in history books, you know, there was like when you if you've heard of Freud, if any of you know of a philosopher called Freud, you know, he was quite extreme about stuff like that. But I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was like something in the air. I don't know, but it seemed to be rife amongst the high end of society would target younger ones, and it was always the working class. It was something depriving about kids that were desperate. Because these are kids in homes like me that were desperate for attention, desperate for love. You know, they'd either lost their loved ones or been taken away from their mothers and fathers, whatever. They were they were parentless. They were in when you were in foster homes. They were orphans. You know, these were orphans. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a foster home where you got fostered by a family. You had two members of staff, maybe three if you're lucky, and 20 kids. You know what I mean? That was what it was, and yeah. So we heard the stories. The men at the football matches would sing the songs. Now, why it means so much to me is because back then there was no social media, there was no internet, there was no telephones. You know what I mean? Only the rich had landlines. Never mind mobile phones, right? So, you know, the way people communicated was through pubs. You know, um, papers, newspapers, magazines, underground magazines. You know, um, and the only way they could get it out, because they needed to get it out, was sing it at football matches, you know? And that whether or not the TV was coming in then I'm sure black and white TV was kicking about and that, and I'm sure TV was getting filmed because this was after 66 and they filmed the World Cup, didn't they? So it was definitely after, this is 70, I'm talking 77, 78, 79, 80, you know? So obviously it would be getting filmed. So there has to be evidence of it out there somewhere. And this song was sung every week about, and I honestly, I've covered this, guys. I did honestly think it was just a hatred towards the government. You know, you had a lot of strikes going on as well. You know what I mean? And because it was steelworks and there was Harland and Wolff and you'd Boeing over here in Northern Ireland. You know, it was like you know, I just thought it was people hating the upper class, and that's how I looked at it back then. But it has obviously you got to understand when you're 7, 8, 9 years old, you don't believe these things. You don't believe. I didn't believe it. I'm telling you what people were telling me and what we were hearing, but I thought it was just stories. We thought it was just horror, just stories like people make up stories around the campfire to scare the kids, you know. And then it turns out it was all true, you know. As I'm getting older, I'm starting to realize it's true, and but you don't believe it. You don't want to believe that, you know what I mean? That, you know, then you just got to Google Cecil Smith, you know what I mean? And yeah, Labour Party was rife. It was rife, you know what I mean? Rife. It was like MI5, MI6 know about it. There's cleverer people than me that can explain it to you. There's other YouTubers, I'm quite sure, that have more balls than me, to be honest with you, because I do speak about this and with interpretation. It does. I need to protect my daughter, and I have to protect everybody that's around me. You know what I mean? And I'm not making something out to be bigger than it is. These people run the country. These people are the most dangerous people in the world, and they do not like people like me bringing out stuff that happened in the 60s and the 70s. You know what I mean? Um, they're these people are being protected by the people of the day. This is what I keep saying. They keep protecting each other. That's why we'll never get in. This is why it's always the establishment. It's always Labour and Conservatives, Labour and Conservatives. Maybe Lib Dems get a wee taste every now and again. Greens get a wee taste, but it's always the two, you know. And the only time a party will take over is a party that represents Labour and Tories, you know. So if, I know reform to you guys is the savior that's to come. I get that. You know. What's that? Looks like a police car, doesn't it? Electric cars, man, they don't make a noise, do they? It's like a spaceship going by. You know, what is it? The way, eh? Is it? Yay. Yeah, so yeah, it is. You know, I'm not. It is difficult doing this kind of thing and talking about it, and but obviously because I lived it, I have to talk about it if I'm going to do this and stuff's going on. Because the only reason this comes up, guys, is because of what's going on today with our working class kids from children's homes. You know what I mean? And like I keep saying to you, we were them kids. We hung about the chippies. You know, the chippies give us bits of the batter that we got. That's what you get. Kids always hung about. People, there's always been vulnerable kids. Always. There's always parents that want to drink rather than look after the kids or take whatever. There was more drink. You know, parents were in the pub and kids were running about after dark and all that. You know what I mean? There was always vulnerable kids all the way through my life. And, you know, if they weren't hanging about outside the pubs to get chains off the drunks, they would be outside the chippies to get a bit of free food or get somebody to buy them a bag of chips. You know what I mean? That's what I did, you know. And I see the same thing happening in the day. But back then, we weren't taken advantage of. We were looked after. We were given food. We were given chains. We were, mate, where's your ma? You know what I mean? Right, come on. You'd be walked home, or you'd be handed over to some woman who would get you home and stuff like that. It was like, I lived on the streets of Belfast, you know what I mean? And, obviously I had some problems, but, of course you're going to have one or two problems, you know what I mean? But considering how much I spent on the street and how vulnerable and how gullible I was, we had a really good society. I remember I can remember staying out in the bonfires, living in the bonfires, in the bonfire huts, and the schools getting memorandums or memos sent around the local schools, because we used to burn each other's bonfires because it was a competition. You had the biggest bonfires. So back in the day, it was almost every other street had a bonfire, but it's more down to areas now. You maybe have two bonfires in one area, but back in my day, there was more smaller ones. And we would like build. You'd be building with sleepers and whatever, but you'd have a wee hut built, and you'd have a settee and a couch, and carpet in the walls and carpet, and it would be cozy, and a wee fire outside with the potatoes and everything in it. And so I would stay there, and our job would be to guard the bunny. That was our job. That was my job. I was a bunny guard all my life, you know what I mean? And it would be me and a few my mates would all sit out all night, spend up all night having a laugh, and just keeping an eye on the bunny. And primary school and schools were sent leaflets around telling them, do not burn the bunnies. There's a wee guy living in them. And all my mates were coming back from school and showing me these flyers. They were going, look, that's you. So it was quite funny. It was quite funny to look back on. But it was never in any danger like that, you know what I mean? Never ever, probably in more danger than I knew, you know what I mean, to be honest with you guys. But what I'm trying to say, I'm going to go back. I'm sorry, I'm going away off here, and I will get back to the comments. I promise you, I will get back to the comments. What I'm trying to say is that it's difficult for me not to talk about what's in my head. I can't not talk. You see, I can't come on here with something that's really, really going around in my head and talk about something else. It wouldn't work. I wouldn't be able to talk about it properly. It wouldn't come out right, and it would look as if there was no point me doing the video. So unless I talk about what's in my head, that's the only way this works for me. You know what I mean? And that's all I can say. So, and it is basically being triggered, guys, of what's going on, and I'm being triggered because they're being protected. The children aren't getting justice, like just again, like back in the day, because you're not going to get. Our kids weren't getting justice back then. The kids in the children's homes weren't getting justice. You went to the police, they were involved. The judges were involved. Everybody at the top tier in Westminster was involved, in one way or another, and they all knew about it. And like I say, guys, it didn't really calm down. I'm not saying it stopped, but things changed when Maggie Thatcher came into power. And I know a lot of you don't like Maggie Thatcher and that, you know what I mean? And, it is what it is, you know what I mean? But things did change. And as far as I'm concerned, as far as the whispers went of childhood abuse by professionals, it did stop. It really did. And I don't know if it was singing. Was it the guys singing it from the football terraces? Because you imagine being a politician, and all of a sudden you're hearing that everybody at the football matches is singing your name and calling you a paedophile. Can you imagine what that meant for the rest of them? Think about it. They're like, oof, that could be my name. You know what I mean? Because these guys wouldn't be telling their families and all that. You know what I mean? This was like, these were rings, guys. These were proper thingy rings. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? I've got to be careful because, YouTube is very temperamental right now. They are being a wee bit more fair and more like letting us have an opinion like normally in life we've been doing since we've been around. But yeah, they are being a wee bit more fair with us, and I don't know, something's going on. You know what I mean? But I'm going to cover the comments now, guys, because I'm just rambling. Michigan, yep. Okay. Just whenever, anytime at all. I can nip away at it here. No, they're you're just talking amongst yourselves. I can see. Hope you're paying attention to me. Like, no, totally get it. Freedom Dad, did you see them two people that attacked the cops at the airport? Go Bill talk about two tier. They made that's just like this is what I'm going to say to you as well. Like, you know, I know it's really annoying. I know you are fucking like going, what is going on? Let me just pull this up a wee bit, guys. I'm trying to get Tulip in. Tulip. I'm not gonna put Tulip out of it. Let me move this cushion. Oh, that's better. That's better. Okay. Right, so what was that last one? Yeah, the Manchester thing. So what I'm going to say to these guys is I want you to not worry too much about this because yeah, there's a good chance these guys aren't even going to get convicted. You know, I doubt it, but there is a chance they're not going to get convicted. But what I'm saying about not worrying about it is like, you know, at the end of the day, guys, the whole world's watching. You know, let Labour crack on. You know, we've seen what they've done. We know exactly what's happened. I've explained these like from day one. Obviously, I couldn't say too much until the initial investigation was over, but I've made it clear. And I think I'm one of the few ones that have actually said this about the cop. Like, you know, straight away, anybody around me will tell you, I told everybody that was a fair cop. So basically, with armed police, the way the whole situation is when you watch the video, guys, I know I've said this before, so anybody's just jumped on if he's hanging there or I'm doing this for everybody who's jumped anybody else to hang in there, guys. So basically, what happened is when armed police are in something like that, in their training, they're always trained. If they're in a squabble with anybody, that person is going to try and take the gun. They have to assume that that is what's going on. They're trying. So they've got two guns on them. They got machine gun. They've got a what do we call that stun gun, electric thing, and they've got handgun. I think it's a 38 they have over here. And so what's happened is it's all went off, right? We know all the bump, 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 but this is the minute when the guy goes down. Now the cop puts him down with, I think he zaps him, but he goes down and his head's facing away from the cop and his arm is down where the cop can't see his arm, right? So they're the two things you got to understand. Now, the cop did not kick that man in the head because he, as far as that cop was concerned, he was out, so he had nothing to worry about. But it wasn't until the suspect turned his head round to look at the cop. Now, they're trained. If you've got a gun, if anybody's got a gun, they've got to look at you. They've got to look. The first thing they do is look. They're not just going to look the opposite way and pull the gun out and shoot you. That doesn't happen, right? First thing happens is they turn and look, and then so it all happened. This is all happening in split seconds. So the policeman hasn't got time to check if he's still got his gun. You know, he's felt the brushing against the gun, but he hasn't checked it yet. You know, and that's what I seen straight away. Like, and you know, if you think a suspect has got a gun in any way at all in an airport with other policemen and members of public around, you tell me what you would do. Just if you suspect he might have your gun, and he's just turning around to look at you, and you know the next thing that's going to come up if he has got it is the gun. What do you do? What do you think they're trained to do, guys? And that's why the cop didn't get done for it, because everything was legal and above board, you know. And I don't know why it wasn't made clear from the start. I don't know why they just didn't say all this straight away, you know what I mean? And instead of pussyfooting about and they're pandering to the threats of these guys, you know what I mean? Oh, he's under investigation. No, so the time could pass, so they could safely say, yes, we've investigated and he done everything legally. You know what I mean? And there was probably some sweeteners thrown in there before they brought that statement out. You have no idea the kind of tactics that the government use. And anybody from Northern Ireland or Ireland on here watching this will back me up here. The tactics used by the government in Northern Ireland with the paramilitaries was really, really dirty tricks in every way you can imagine. There was even a book wrote about it called The Dirty War. You know, have a look at that. Gives you a bit of an idea, you know, but it got worse. You know, The Dirty War was wrote and then there was still more to come after that. They didn't even plead. Yeah, I know that, mate. Evening, Freedom Dad. Hi, Lee. Everybody say hello to Lee. Lee amazingly put me up for a couple of days. Yes, I did help him out, technology and all that, but he also, listen, it was both ways. Absolutely amazing. And yeah, a proper old school London boy. You don't meet many guys like Lee. I'll be honest with you guys, you know, I'm the type of guy that goes through life that enjoys characters, you know, and it's very difficult to find characters. A lot of people behave how people expect them to behave, or they behave how others behave. characters behave just the way they are. They have a character. They're unique. It's Signa meals. You know what I'm talking about if you know what that means. And yeah, he's one of them guys. You know what I mean. And he's got the receipts and all that. You know what I mean? Because like, yeah, you got to understand. I've been in the jail and been around a lot of guys, and I've heard a lot of stories. And so like I say, I'm good at reading people, guys. You know what I mean? Been around for a long time doing this carry on, and like I say, I used to have to do it to keep myself safe and in very dangerous situations. So it was important that I understood people very quickly, and made sure any alternative motives that they had, that I was on top of it very early in any relationship and meeting anybody or getting into anything at all, whether it's business, whether it's doing the gym, whatever. You've got to be very careful in prison, especially nowadays. And I was very lucky. I was when I was in the jail, guys. It was a walk in the park. All right, we didn't have toilets, and there wasn't mobile phones. You know what I mean, or TVs. You know what I mean, right? But I know that sounds nuts. Yeah, I know you're all thinking, well, Freedom Dad, how could you not? I'm telling you guys, jail back then it was a different ball game. The TVs, It's okay, guys. It's okay. It's okay, Bailey. Guard dogs, guys. Guard dogs. Right, boy. It's okay. It's okay, son. The TVs changed the jails, guys. The TVs changed the jails in a way you can't imagine. For starters, people slop out time, and you know what I mean. You can beat it, man. And no, well, basically the TV stopped people interacting. Everybody was watching EastEnders and Coronation Street, Emmerdale every night. I'm not kidding you on. Some of the hardest, biggest, well-known gangsters that you could name would be in watching EastEnders, Coronation Street, and Emmerdale every night. And a lot of guys didn't come out of their cells, and it became cliquey. You know what I mean? And the cells were small, so it would be small cliques, and that caused problems. And then with the slop out, with the toilets in the cells, it means you were locked up more. Guys were locked in the cell a lot more. You didn't need to get out to empty your piss pot. You didn't need to get out to get water. All these things made a difference when you're locked up in prison, when you're locked up in a cell. Everything, when you're in prison and you're locked up in the cell, the whole point is to get out of that cell. And that's what I would do. That's what guys would do. If you're a jailbird, you play the system. You're on the bail. I need the toilet. I'm on the bail. I need to do this. I need to use a phone call. If this is before, when there was phones, there was no phones when I first went in. But I was in '86. I was 16. You know what I mean? And also because I was so young and so oblivious to the danger I was in, I was like, I loved it. I was actually talking to Lee about it. I've told him a few things I haven't told other people. Like obviously on here. And it's things that we all know about and everybody over there knows about. And, Bob, the dogs in the street talk about it, you know what I mean? But, some things just aren't for YouTube, But like I say, I will get it out. I'll get it all out one day, you know what I mean? Without hurting anybody or causing any problems for anybody. But yeah, I think he's going to appreciate it's pretty censored on YouTube, like. But no, the jails are different now. The jails are a lot more violent, guys. There was violence. You know what I mean? Back in the day, like Aylesbury was a bad jail. Like it was really violent. Seen some horrible things like in that jail. And I've seen a lot of people get slashed. I've seen guys get demolished with batteries and arm bars and spikes. And I've seen guys done with boiling hot water with half a bag of sugar. I've seen guys getting the worst ones are the ones with mob handed. They're the ones worse. I've seen ones where they've taken turns, where men have taken turns, and like it's went on for a long time, and maybe there would have been up to 10 to 15 men involved. And that was a pretty horrific one to witness. And I was at 16 when that happened. And I'm not going to say whether he deserved it or not because I was 16 at the time. It was pretty horrific. But I've seen a lot of bad stuff. Toilets and sinks came before TVs, and my memory serves me right. Yeah, I think you're right. They did. Yeah, they did. Yeah. But, like I say, TVs weren't, as general jail goes, it really changed it. It made it made them more controllable. And another problem you had with the TVs, guys, and this is a big one, is once people got TVs, they didn't want to lose them. And that was a problem, And, yeah, once you give a man a TV, you'd be surprised what he would do not to lose that TV, and it is what it is. And that was a problem as well. With the saltwater sugar, yeah. minder and supermarket sweep. LOL. Yeah, no, that's you know what I mean. It's like but like I always say, prison's just a mini society outside, guys. It's just if you just imagine. Excuse me. Just imagine society outside. There's a mini version of it inside. You've got all the emotional stuff as well, the jealousy and dodgy dealings and people ripping each other off, and he said, she said, and you know what I mean. And you have your laughs. You have your community spirit, and there used to be us and them with the screws, but like I say, the TVs cause a problem because people were scared to lose the TV. So say back in the day, we would like I've been involved in loads of rats, okay, loads and loads of rats. And yeah, we used to plan rats, and I was a bit of a skullduggery when it came to stuff and up to no good and stuff like you know what I mean. And if the conditions weren't right, and you know, I would fucking be moaning and complaining about it. So back in the day, you could get a wee action group together, you know what I mean, do a wee bit of slopping out under the door, or you know what I mean, a wee bit of blocking up locks or something, just making life difficult for the screws, you know what I mean, until they sort out whatever the problem is, and two, actually overtaking the wing, getting on a roof, whatever, you know what I mean. Depending how serious it is. Now, I am not a mastermind or nothing like that. I'm not coming across like that. Like I never have ever planned anything like that. I've been up there planning it with guys, and I would plan it. I'm not saying, oh, it wasn't me. Yeah, it was me. You know what I mean? But there was a lot cleverer guys than me. Believe you me, guys. I'm just reporting to you what happened. I'm not saying I'm this, that, and the other. I was there. I've been there in these jails and things that happened. You know what I mean? Every single time, everywhere I've been, there's always been a lot more dangerous and harder men than me everywhere I've been. So yeah. And the difference is today, guys, is like whereas you could back in the day, you could all get away, you could trust everybody, you could talk, right, you up for doing this, and because we'd have to make sacrifices, guys would maybe have visits set up, and they might have to lose a visit because of our protesting. You know, guys, we had to consider medication and all that, you know what I mean, and stuff. So we did have to be active when like talking to people about what we were doing. We were a community, we all lived together, didn't want to just keep causing problems, you know what I mean. But you could do that back in the day, and if there was a problem, people would say, "Well, not just yet," or "Wait till this time," or "Let me get this visit," and then you would, cater to people's needs. But nowadays, if you were to start talking, they would run and tell the screws because they don't want to lose their tellies because they turn the electric off. They turn the water off and everything. They're like, "I'm a EastEnders." I'm not kidding you on, guys. I'm fucking telling you. I wish I was joking. This is the state of the jails these days. There is always someone bigger, stronger. Oh, definitely, mate. And you're only as fucking hard as your last fight, that's for sure. But it's like the jails have changed dramatically. You know what I mean? The English. Bailey, it's okay. It's okay. Bailey, come here. Bailey, come here. Come here. Come here, guys. It's okay. Come here. It's okay. You're okay. It's okay. See? Wait, don't knock the table. Don't knock the table. Good girl. That's okay. Everything's good. Good girl. Well done. Where you go? Go and lie down now. You can't get up. Tulip's here. You're too big. Yeah. So yeah, the jails have totally changed now, guys. England is how can I explain England to you right now, guys? Um, Horror story, absolute horror story, and like I never thought I'd say that about jail. I really never. Like I've always been the man to go like jail and fucking kick back, lie back. You know what I mean? What time's dinner at? Shut that door after you. You know what I mean? That's always been. Jail's always been a stress-free place for me. No worries. You know what I mean? There's no letters coming through the door. Nobody's bothering me about my garden being a mess. You know what I mean? It's like you don't have to worry about money and making money last for food, and don't have to worry about like people offer me to make money the bad way again, and you know what I mean, and I'm like sitting there fucking 150 grand I could make here, you know what I mean, and but I need to be bad, I need to be a really bad man to do it, and you know what I mean, and when you're really desperate sometimes the devil plays tricks on you, and like all these kind of things, even at that, even like 20, 30, 40 grand, you know what I mean? It's there for me. I've got friends that are and doing my nothing, and they watch these videos and they're like, what the fuck are you doing on your ass? You know what I mean? I'm like, fucking, because I'm choose to be on my ass. I'm trying to do things the way I'm meant to do things, and it's like a social experiment for me, you know what I mean? Okay, they're saying they're diagnosing me with complex PTSD and personality disorder, and they're wanting to test me for ADHD. Okay, so fair enough. Let's go down that road and see what what help I'm going to get. That's the way I've been looking at it. And as you have seen, been knocked back for adult disability because I don't take medication, because I refuse to take medication. You know what I mean? But if I had went to a doctor and took the medication and just never took them, I probably would have had, this is no word of lie, to this date now, probably about 80 grand, 60 to 80 grand if I had it done. And I could have done that. And everybody around me, not my loved ones, but other people were going, you're no right. Why did you do that? You know what I mean? It's like, because I want to do it this way. This is the way, I want to live a more Christian life. And it's difficult. This is really difficult. You know what I mean? And but prison isn't. I don't have none of them problems in prison. People leave me alone. Once people know that you're not going to take no shit and you'll use whatever you need to use and you'll not let anybody get away with anything, people just leave you alone because I'm not a bad person. You know what I mean? I'm a good guy to get on with. I'm quite a happy person and people like happy people around them, and that's just the way it is. And, so, but today, the deals are changing. Not so much in Northern Ireland. I have to say Northern Ireland's pretty much the same. Scotland is getting that way slowly, very slowly, but it is going to the way. But England is an absolute horror show right now. And yeah, I've seen it going that way, and I always say to people about it. I always go, I was friends with Muslims, and they never had the Quran, and I never knew about the Quran. I seen the prayer mat, but they never went on about it. I never knew nothing about Islam or Muhammad or nothing. And we used to play pool together. I used to work out. One of my best mates, my gym partner, was a Muslim guy, Pakistani guy. I used to listen to Punjabi music with him. It was brilliant. Just like dancey Punjabi raved up music. It was brilliant. I loved it. And we got on really well. And, I used to talk about his culture. He used to ask me questions about Northern Ireland. And I used to always say to myself, what's changed? What's changed? And you know what it is? I actually know what it is now. Back then, there wasn't enough of them. And that's what it was. I'm sure that's what it was. There wasn't enough of them. Now, because there's that many, they're more brazen. They're more able to come up against the rest of because at the end of the day, if you got British criminals and you've got Muslim criminals, guys in prison, that's just the way it is. It's every prison has gangs like America, whites, Hispanics, blacks, Aryan Brotherhood and all that nonsense. It's not like that here, but you've still got the tribal thing, birds of a feather will flock together. And, I think at the minute the way it is right now, because the Muslims are going together and sticking together and trying to convert everybody, it's making other ones stick together like, we need to come together. So guys that would be enemies that would never ever stick together before, are now sticking together only because they've got no choice. It's either stick together or stand out on your own. And I'm going to tell you this now, guys, you're not going to last on your own. I wouldn't last in England today. I was lucky to get through that sentence, and, I really was. Yeah, I did go ahead with the Pakistani boys, but that was just a fight between two men and two boys, two lads, me and this fucking other guy. Honestly, he was 3 times the size of me. Like, honestly, solid. No steroids or not. Don't ask me what. I had this thing when I was younger. I think I still got it, to be honest with you, where I say something, but my brain knows I shouldn't have said it, but it's too late. It's like, I'm trying to grab it. It's like I'm trying to say it back, but it's that split second too late. And that used to get me in a lot of trouble and in a lot of fights and in the positions where I couldn't back out of, because once I said it, I wouldn't not say it. I wouldn't say, "Oh, I'm sorry," or "No, I don't want to fight you now." That wouldn't happen. So, like I say, I'm not a big guy. Never been a big guy. Well, strong but not big. 5'8", 11 stone. Always been around about that. Obviously, I've always been 5'8", but 11 stone's always been my marker. And yeah, but I use any means necessary, as my mum taught me before she died. And yeah, that got me through it. But I just got through it. That's what I'm trying to say. I was very lucky. I told you I was in a cell one time and they were all shouting at the windows. You know what I mean? And this is nothing racist or nothing. This is just the way it is. If you beat up one of them, they all come together. It's like anything. Catholics, Protestants, whatever, Jews, Sikhs, everybody in prison sticks together. Like Belfast boys stick together. You know what I mean? Scottish guys in England stick together. Scottish guys in Northern Ireland will stick together. It's just the way it is. You know what I mean? And, I done one of their main men and they were wanting it. They were just... Honestly, I've told you, it was one of the most frightening experiences of my life, without a doubt. And I'm proud to be able to say that, you know what I mean? Because, I haven't really said that before, and I've always been that kind of guy. I wouldn't ever let anybody know that. But yeah, that lockup, it was an hour lockup, and it was the tea time lockup. So it was a lockup in jail, normally two. One at lunchtime, one at tea time. One, they let the screws go for something to eat, and two, they get a head count. So it was a tea time lockup, and yeah, they were all shouting at the window and in the doors, "Paddy, we're going to do this to you, Paddy, we're going to do that to you," and I did think I was in trouble. Like I say, I was 19, game as a badger. I'd already done 3 years in England. I've been in the Crumlin Road prison. I've been in Hyde Bank, two really tough jails. Really not tough, but Crumlin Road prison. You know what I mean? Yeah, I earned my stripes in there, so I did. And I'll tell you all about that one day. That's an amazing experience. That's a book on its own, guys. Honestly, that that's a book on its own. You know what I mean? Amazing memories. Some of the happiest memories of my life came from that prison. Believe it or not, I know that sounds nuts, but I can't lie to you. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I'd already done the Crumlin Road. I'd already been in High Bank, and I was in England doing a six, starting a six. It was a long-term prison for young offenders. And like all these guys were doing a long time. All these guys were young guys. You got to understand how dangerous us young men were back then. So they were going to do all sorts to me, and I was like, I was ready to go. I was taking as many, but I wasn't coming in my cell like that. They were coming into my cell. You know what I mean? And I knew the screws weren't going. The screws hated me because I'd already assaulted screws, so they were glad to see me getting pasted. You know what I mean? And but when the door got opened, like I say, all the English boys came in, and that was that. They were like, "Paddy, you're not on your own. We're not going to let these guys do this to you," and you know, basically turned into me getting done to an absolute gang warfare on the wing. Not that night, but it did end up turning into that, like eventually. And then that's when I got moved to Portland, and then that's another book. Honest to God, Portland was the most violent prison for me for prison officers. So Aylesbury was the most violent prison for prisoners, and High Bank is a hard one. Honestly, guys from Northern Ireland hear me saying this, they'll be like, "Geez, oh, it must have been bad," because I'd already been in High Bank. You know what I mean? And High Bank was bad. My mates were getting their arms broken and all that in there. You know what I mean? High Bank was where, like, so that's where Protestants and Catholics, like, it was young offenders. It was the only place in Northern Ireland where we would mix. So you got to understand, we were young paramilitaries. Catholics and Protestants. You had young IRA men, young UVF, young UDA men, and we'd been in the Crum as paramilitaries in our different, IRA men, blah blah. And then when we get sentenced as young fucking prisoners, we end up in High Bank together. Mental, absolutely mental. But yeah, that's another story. But High Bank, the screws had to be brutal because we were brutal. So the screws, because we controlled the jail in the Crum, because we controlled the screws in the Crum, that was their way of getting, you're in the Crum, you thought you are big men, you aren't big men here. And that was their way of getting back at us. I mean, you got to understand, some of these screws lived in army barracks. Some of these prison officers had so many death threats on them, they didn't live in anywhere apart from in a police station or in an army barracks. They all had guns. They all carried guns outside of work. The amount of prison officers that were offed in Northern Ireland, is it's an awful lot. It was a very difficult job to do. I'll have to hand it to these guys. You know what I mean? Not so much High Bank because they were bullies, but the prison officers in the Crum, I have to hand it to them. Like, I mean, very, very brave men. Very, very brave. The bravest screws I've ever met were the prison officers in the Crumlin Road prison. No doubt. And most of them will be dead now because we're mostly quite older men, I remember rightly, quite older men. And no doubt this is 1986, you know what I mean? So I think most of them will be dead or on their way there now, like guys, unfortunately. Because, at the end of the day, we're only humans. We're all humans. And I never hold any grudge against prison officers or police officers. It's a fair game. You know what I mean? You do things, you get caught, you go to prison. That's what their job is. It's all their jobs, you know what I mean? And that's just the way it is. Right, let me catch up, guys. Sorry. Freedom Dad, I didn't qualify for PIPs. Yeah, that's going to get harder, Lucy. They're coming down on that as well. Well, I'll probably do a video about that because I don't know. It's a flip side coin, you know what I mean? But if you want any advice on that, give me a shout, you know what I mean? Because like I say in my videos, guys, you know what I mean? I get quite easily, you know what I mean? I know guys that are taking £2,000 cash off the government, right, a month, and working, you know what I mean? And it is so easy to do. And this is what my problem is. because it's so easy to do. This is why we're getting so many people coming, because who's not? You got to understand, these guys are lucky to get £100 a month. Believe me. Like, all right, quite a lot of them are organised criminals, right? We know that. But the ones that are just here just to get a better life, like by milking us dry, not by working them. At the end of the day, guys, you know what I mean? I'm not going to crucify them just for that. There is bad men coming over here, but there is also men just coming over here to milk the system. And I know guys around me all my life that's been milking the system, and like, I'm just being fair and hangy here, guys. The system is wide open to be milked, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's like, it is. She's just Katie lost money, a tenner, and her mum just found it. But yeah, it was like, yeah, the system, it should be there to help people like Lucy. It's not hard to work out who deserves it. When you're in a situation where people can say they've got a sore back, and you're saying, well, we can't prove a sore back, or they got mental health. Oh, we can't prove mental health. So here you go. There's 600, 700 quid a month, cash. Well, out of the bank cash, and there's a car. There's your housing paid, and there's another 300 quid a fortnight cash. Universal credit plus. What I mean? And I'm being conservative here with these figures. You know what I mean? You know, that's how easy it is. That's what they're doing. They're saying that they're getting pip because they're saying they snore. If you're up snoring, if you're snoring and it's keeping you awake all night, then how you meant to get up for work? So it is it is wide open for anybody to take advantage of. And that's one of the problems we have with irregular immigration, guys. You know what I mean? There's no two ways about it. It's so tempting, £2,000. You're talking 600, £700 from Universal Credit, plus, you're talking another, I don't know, what is it, 4, 5, £600 from PIP. I mean, there's 11 grand, and then you got your housing paid. You know what I mean? There's £500, £600 housing getting paid, and then you got other things on top of that. It's like, it's a lot of money for these guys. And I don't know any other country that does it. And but then like to me, you know what I mean? And they're saying I've got all these conditions, and I've got in a lot of fights, and I'm always getting any employers like I do get my mates in a lot of trouble, so I do. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm working on it. But the point is, I done it properly. I don't want to take tablets. I don't want to take Valium. I don't want to take any mood alterating drugs. This is because this is what they say. You don't take any mood alterating thingy. Now, I had diagnosis from a doctor and a diagnosis from a psychologist. You know what I mean? And yeah, so, and it's not an axe to grind, guys. You know what I mean? It's fair enough. If that's what they're saying, that's fair enough. I'm not going to take tablets just to get money. I'm not going to lie about something neither. I'm not going to pretend there's something wrong with me just to get money, because them kind of people will end up having problems later on in life. That will come around and bite them in the arse. And, why would you do that? You know what I mean? That money's not going to bring you any happiness, that's for sure. But like Lucy, if you need any help with that, if anybody needs any advice, I will email me. I'll email you back. I'll give you a phone even, you know what I mean, and get a chat with you, let you know how to go about doing it. Get you in touch with people as well that know. Get you in touch with YouTube channels that you can go and have a look at. You know what I mean? There's actually, if you just put in PIP, PIP, you'll get quite a lot of YouTube channels with people giving advice, you know what I mean? But like I say, that's the Labour are coming down on that now as well, so they are. So be interesting to see how far they go with that. I believe what they're going to do is they're going to stop giving people money, and it's going to be a credit system where you'll have a card where you can only buy food from it. You get me? Or certain goods from certain shops. So you won't be able to use it in a pub. You won't be able to use it in anywhere. Like, you won't be able to use it to buy alcohol or cigarettes. You know what I mean? That's what I think they're looking to do, because that will put a lot of people off. A lot of people aren't going to go through the hassle of getting the doctor's reports, and and getting whatever medical reports you need, and you got to fill this form in, and then you got to get a phone call, then you get asked all these crazy questions. It's a lot of go through. People aren't going to go through that unless they're getting bucks at the end of it. They're getting money, guys, and yeah, so maybe it might be changes to the positive. Who knows? Because people that actually need this would be quite happy with that. You understand? They would be quite happy with that. You know. At the end of the day, people need their money for food, electricity, and gas. The people that I know that are on these benefits, that's where it's all going. There's no perks, guys. And if they didn't have that, because these people, a lot of people with mental health and physical disabilities have to sit in the house. Now, I know you might think, well, they're sitting in the house all the time and doing an awful lot, but, it's not as simple as that. They're burning the electric non-stop. They're burning the heating non-stop, you know what I mean? And there's other outgoings, there is a lot of things that, like art and crafts that they might take up, or computer stuff that they might take up that they need a wee bit of help with, you know what I mean? It's to give people a better standard of their life. It means that if you're not able to work, if you've really got like a disability, a bad back, or so, you're really in pain all the time, and you can't be expected to get up and go to work. You might have good days, you might have bad days, but unfortunately, we don't have jobs that allow good and bad days. You know what I mean? When you get a job these days, you're expected to work every single day, and maybe the weekends as well. And unfortunately, some people can't do that, and that's what it's there for. So I'm not going to knock it or knock anybody. At the end of the day, everybody's taking the piss out of the government right now. I visited never again. We're on a giant plane, no go zones because I was broke heart. Think he can. He has destroyed London. Yeah, I can't. I know. I'm supposed to have two ops on leg, but I won't go into the hospital. Lucy, you need to go in the hospital. But I understand. You know what I mean. Well, I'll get a chat with you about it. Yeah, but this is the thing, John. People aren't claiming what they're entitled to. The government will not tell you what you're entitled to. This is another thing that really annoys me. There's so many people, old people, vulnerable people. This is what I keep saying to you. It's only the smartest. It's only the crookest people. It's only the people that are dishonest that will get every single benefit that's going. The innocent, nice, God-loving people, God-fearing people won't, because nobody tells them. They don't go searching for it. They go to the social. So I've heard of stories where women have worked all their lives, right? They were laid off because of business, especially where I am. There's big businesses going down all the time. They get laid off, right? They're in their 50s, 60s, right? And they go to the social and they get a hit with like 200 quid a fortnight. That's it. They don't get told what they're entitled to. Nothing. And I'm hearing this over and over and over again because they're so angry when they do find out, and when they're told, but you've got to claim for it's all there. This is what in there, and you got to understand. Maybe it's just the society that we live in, but these people are expecting to be told by the government exactly what they're entitled to. These people have worked all their lives, and I mean they left school at 15. 14, some of them. I'm talking to people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s right now, and they've worked all their days, and then for some or other reason they get laid off. And it's happening quite a lot. A lot of companies are laying a lot of people off rather than pay them the big bucks at the end when they reach retirement. There is, unless you've got secondary retirement things. Um, Lucy, I'm quite sure we could get somebody to look after your dogs. Okay. Um, we have kennels. You know what I mean? We have things, friends that we have that we could get your dogs looked after. Not a problem. You know what I mean? If anything ever comes up like that, your dogs would be safe with me and mine. You know what I mean? My friends. But listen, that's I promise you that. Lee, you back me up in this, Lee. We could get our dogs looked after if she needs to go in the hospital for an operation. My mate's mum was good at filming the forums and she DSS about everyone in this game. This is what I mean. I know, John, everybody's got somebody like this. This is why I grew up with that. There was always somebody round the corner or in the estate that knew everything you needed to know to fill in the forms for the DHS and for social benefits. And that's common in working class, you know what I mean? And that person would always get a wee throwback because whenever when I applied for my PIP, I waited a year back and forth appealing it, right? And they would, I think it worked out about 11 grand or something they would have owed me, you know what I mean? Seriously, like. And, I knew it wasn't there for me. I knew the way it was going, that they were doing everything they can not to give me this money. And it even turned out when I done it all right and appealed it, they didn't even reply to my last appeal. so they didn't, you know. So, and maybe my mental health shone through a wee bit on that one because I was getting a bit pissed off at it all, especially when I was being told that if I had to take medication, I would have got it. You know, that's bad crack. You know, that's bad crack. Sends out the wrong message, I think. You know, but yeah, there is loads of people that know exactly what to do and how to do it. Like I said, I know everything because I'm 55. I've, you know, been in working club. Everybody knows, you know. I mean, most people do know, but the younger ones will always go to the older ones and get all the forms filled out. You know, no problem, Lucy. Yep, I'm just gonna we look get on a boat, throw your passport away, and you get everything. I know, Tina. Well, one of my mates was joking about that. You know what I mean? One of my mates split up from his wife. Does she need her daddy? Oh, okay, okay. That's my. You can hear wee Lucky in the background. She's crying for her daddy. So she is. So it's good. Baby's getting fought over, you know. So yeah. What was I saying there? Let me have a wee look, guys, because I know where I was. Yeah, my mate. So he split up with his wife. 25 years they've been together. Son grown up in a relationship, done their job, done an amazing job, and they were just, you know, like a lot of couples at that stage, maybe was that itch that people get, you know, the grass is always greener, whatever, you know. So he left the house. She kicked him out, and he's got to find somewhere else. And he's actually sofa surfing, and he works really hard, you know, and he's paid his taxes all his life, and you know, it's just really sad, you know, that there's nothing there for him. You know, he's struggling. He can't afford anywhere. You know, the council said there's a 10, 15 year waiting list because like single mums and people with mental health issues will get it first. And he's not going to pretend he's got a mental health issue to get a house. You know, he's just like me. He's not going to lie about stuff. He knows what he can do. He knows what he needs to do if he wants to, but he's not that kind of guy. He's doing everything right and legal, just like me. And yeah, we joked about it. If he, because he's quite tanned, you know, and Scottish, oh, 100% Scottish, but he's quite tanned, dark hair and all that. He was like, you know what? He says, I could fly over to France, throw my passport away and jump on one of them dinghies. He says, I would get a hotel. And, you know, he is right. He is right. If he learned a bit of Arabic or something or a bit of whatever, you know what I mean? He probably would, you know. You know, he don't have his fingerprints or anything like that, you know. So, you know, it's it's a funny thing. Right, hold on. Yeah, yeah, but that's common as well, guys. Working class, everybody's taking tablets. Everybody's got a bag full of medication. You know, and that's just the way it is these days. You know, and yeah, it's one tablet after another. It's like you take one thing and they give you it for this, and you know, I've been there where they've tried to give me stuff. You know what I mean? Especially when I was suffering with the wind, like a year and a half ago, when my stomach started going, and they were giving me tablets for that. You know what I mean? I was like, I just want it fixed. I want to find out what's wrong. I don't want to smother it. You know, but I can imagine if I had to take them tablets, I probably needed a tablet for something else then because of maybe an effect. You don't know. I just think it's strange that it's the same pattern with most people these days. And I know you must know this yourselves. All he is, if you are from the working class, you know what I'm saying is true. It seems to be everybody's that's getting no well and end up going to a doctor. It's just one thing after another, and people are ending up with lots of tablets. And it's just like it's too common, guys. It's too common. It's just like surely there isn't a tablet for every single thing. You know, surely there must be other ways of fixing what's wrong with people than just going bang here. And I do believe it's just, you know, because they don't know what else to do, you know. It's ticking a box, you know what I mean? There's probably a lot more. I'm not gonna deep dive it because I'd end up getting my channel shut down, to be honest with you. We'll just leave that at that. So we will. But I know you all know what I'm talking about. Um, yeah. So anybody want to ask me any questions at all, fire in. This is your chance. Anything you want to ask me about the jail or about Northern Ireland or about me, about being a dad, I don't know. Yeah, anything at all. That's the whole point. of this is like being open and honest. You know what I mean? Obviously, I can only be as honest as I can as long as I don't bring anybody else into it or hurt anybody else's feelings. I can't talk about ongoing cases, stuff like that. But you know the score, guys. I just want to say thank you. And I done the wee live. That's an hour and a half. No, we'll take it to 2 hours, guys. Um, it was just because I was really gutted, like really, really gutted, because I was really. It was just one of them ones, guys, where, like I said, I turned the camera on. I wasn't too sure what way the video was going to go, and I just started talking, and it was just perfect. It was just perfect. It was really, really good, and it was that good. I had to do another wee video before it to add in, this is for entertainment and educational purposes only, and this is the views of a man, blah blah blah. Because sometimes whenever I talk about stuff, um, it's very. I have to make it fucking clear to people. I'm not being far right. I'm not being whatever you want to call me just because I'm talking about issues that you don't like talking about. You know what I mean? I've got a wee daughter. You know what I mean? I've been through childhood abuse. I've seen the working class kids getting attacked before. Um, why am I watching it again at this stage in the game, 2025? Yeah, I've got questions. You know what I mean? Why is it all mainly majority one particular community? And why he's hiding all these figures? Why do we not know how many people are committing crimes? Why do we not know how many people are getting social benefits? Why are they hiding things? Why are they not telling us the truth about things? Why are they doing nothing about the boats? Why is it so important to them that they get so many people in here as possible? And that'll bring me on to maybe our last thing I'll talk about. If you don't have any, oh, Paul Thorpe's live at nine. Well, yep, I definitely don't want to be going over at Paul Thorpe's live. But the last thing I'm going to talk about, guys, is the oh, I was just mentioned it there. It was in my video. It'll come back to me, guys. It'll come back to me. That's to me there because I was working at the time. I was like, oh no, is it 9? I wasn't too sure, but it was just the stuff that was going on today in when I was talking about my video, and yeah, we're talking about why I have to say these things because people don't understand who I am. People come onto my videos and just touch me going on about illegal immigration and grooming gangs and all the bad stuff and Tommy Robinson and you know what I mean? And straight away people just go, he's a racist. He's far right. You know what I mean? They don't look into it at all. They just assume. And like, this is where we're at. This is exactly where they want us. And this is why I won't stop doing it. Can I get a wee glass of orange, please? This is why I won't stop doing it because you're being silenced. You're being forced to keep your mouth shut by being labelled something you're not, you know, and it's very dangerous. And it's a very dangerous attack on your freedom of speech. And it's so dangerous that if it was successful, if they were successful, then England 110% is gone because only awareness is going to stop what's happening. And this is the whole point. The Labour Party do not want you to know how bad things are because then you would be out on the street demanding a complete end to immigration and a complete revaluation of who's come into this country and a complete setup of the deportation system, And like I've said before, it's very easy. I don't know yet, John. I'll talk about that before I go. Remind me. I will talk about it on the live. Sorry.
No, you're okay. Do you want violet and there's
Fresh.
orange?
Is what?
There's no orange.
Oh, can you let the water run cold? Yeah, please. Um, I will cover that, mate. So I will. But no, one. Can you mind what I'm saying there, Sean? Yeah, so basically, like I've covered this here. Now I'm always going to address it because I'm not going to sit here because nobody talks about it. It seems everybody's just scared to talk about it. When I'm talking about deportation, I'm talking about the deportation of men that come into this country and commit crimes. And at the end of the day, for extreme crimes, anybody, even if you're born of somebody that's come into this country, he also can be up for deportation depending how serious the crime is. Now, I'm only saying this because this is what I expect from every country around the world that I go into. If I behave in any sort of way that's illegal or detrimental to the ways of life and the culture of that country, I would expect to be deported immediately because that is what happens. and that's the least of things. You'd be lucky even if you would get out some of these countries if you behaved in a certain way. So all I'm asking is for a wee bit of respect towards our country, towards our people, and towards our children. And I just think, yeah, okay, you're here. We can't just kick you out. We can't kick you out for coming here illegally. And I'm quite sure, you know, there will be things set up for certain people who they know should not come here, and they just got through because of the Labour Party. But there will anybody who commits any serious crimes should be immediately deported. And there should be a strike system for any other people that's coming to this country from other countries if you commit a crime, depending on how serious it is. Because we don't want to just kick people out for fucking motoring offences or for something that any one of us might get can happen to any one of us. And I'm trying to be fair, guys. You know what I mean? But if you commit crime, no matter how small, and you keep on committing crime, then yeah, it's time to go. Because we're only asking you to respect us, respect our country, and just behave exactly how we would expect to be treated or behave in somebody else's country. And that's all it is, guys. There is no reason why we can't talk about deporting bad men. There's no reason why we can't talk about deporting men who have committed sexual offences against any of our children or against any of our women. It should not even be up for discussion, you know. And the thing about not knowing where they come from and all that, then there should be places built to hold these men until they tell us, because they know where they come from. It's only them that's not telling us. So it's up to them. They hold the key to their cell door, and it's I honestly believe a man is going to tell you. And obviously, if there's a danger of where he's going, we're not going to send men back to get treated bad. But things are changing in the Middle East. Pakistan's changing. America's pulled out. The Taliban have taken over. You know what I mean? They seem to be it's some of these things that some of these men are asking in this country is happening in Afghanistan and Pakistan's. I've seen people from here going over to Pakistan, safe enough to me, and obviously Syria is safe now. You know, we've just given the new Syrian government 50 million, so they must be really good people. So without a doubt, there's definitely these countries are now safe for these people to go back. So there's no reason why any of these men committing crimes should not go back. Simple as that. And being, I'm not saying mass deportations. That's nuts. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Nigel Farage is right. You can't just deport every single foreign national. That's crazy. But you can set limits. You can set lines. You can set, you can fix the border. You know what I mean? And another thing I would definitely bring into it is I would definitely have a 5-year, 6-year gap before anybody could vote. Just because you get citizenship doesn't mean you can just start voting. And I don't think you can just walk into a country and pick up the politics within a year, never mind weeks or months. I do believe that to be involved in politics or to have the right to vote to change the country's politics, then you should be at least in this country for 5 years. I think that's just common sense. If you need to have a real good understanding of the country before you can make decisions like that. I would almost go as far as to say that you would need to be born in this country before you could vote, whether that's born from people that came to this country or not. I've got no problem with that. You know what I mean? It's like, but I just think there should be some sort of something set up to protect anything that could be used against us, like as the Labour could do with illegal immigration, irregular immigration, give them all citizenship, knowing fine rightly they'll vote for them. We're not asking much. We're not being bad, are we? That's not far right. Is that far right, Granny?
No.
That's not far right. There's nothing far right about what I'm saying. You know, I'm looking at my wee daughter here, man. You know, and that's what I'm thinking about. Wanting to make sure that she knows that if there's any men running about that's come into this country that came here to think they can take advantage of children or our social benefits that are for our vulnerable, that there's consequences. Because right now there isn't. So why would they not come over and do what they're doing when there's no consequences? They're getting given hotels. They're getting bail, even when they get charged. They're getting bail. They're like, oh, you can go over there and you can SA women and children, and you get bail. This is what they'll be telling their mates, and they'll be like, "You get bail." Oh, some of them countries you do not have. I can't even tell you what they do to them. Seriously, like that is not tolerated. It is not tolerated, guys. Yeah, I know the age of consent and all that is lower in some of these countries, and Iraq are wanting to bring it down to 9. But as far as like SA in their own like that, they do have laws. You know what I mean? I know women have a life of a dog. I know that in a lot of these countries. You know what I mean? But you got to understand as well. You do have people like Begum who they like it. That's what they want. They want to live like that. They want to cover up. It's not all what you think. You know what I mean? Is it on YouTube, John? It's a long documentary. It explains everything from the First World War right through. No, I'll catch up on that, guys. Do you think Trump will save ban on TikTok? No, TikTok isn't getting banned, guys. You know, I don't know. I thought you would know that. So, TikTok isn't going to get banned. They probably will do something with it, and like the Americans aren't stupid, like you know what I mean. But there's too much money involved in these companies. You know what I mean. So whenever there's a company that's multi-trillion, millions, whatever, I don't know the figure. You know what I mean. Um, believe you me, they're, whenever if you're able to give somebody a cut, if somebody comes up to you and you're making trillions and they say, I'm going to stop you making any more money at all. And you go, but what if I give you half of it? You know, so um, TikTok isn't going anywhere. Are you going in first? I'm going to cover that. Mind yours, you would tick the back of that script so you didn't pay before you get the scripts free. See, I don't know anything about that, mate. To be honest with you, I've never really been to the doctors or nothing. You know what I mean? So, um, I know what you're talking about, like, but I like social as well. Like, I never signed on the brew or nothing. So basically, when I got out after doing me 18, first time I ever got a bank account. Um, first time I'd ever done social or anything like that, and I had to do it because I was getting out of jail. So, and they were all going to me, "Where have you been?" You know, the bank were going to me, "Where have you been?" So basically, I couldn't have anything like that because of Northern Ireland. Most guys from Northern Ireland can understand that. You couldn't sign on, you know, like I say, routine, you know. So, and all every situation I've been in, all the houses that I had growing up, um, it was like off paramilitaries. So paramilitaries would own houses, and then I would be needing a house, and they would just give me a house, and I would stay in the house. I had some really nice houses, you know what I mean? And got in a wee bit of trouble one or two of them, but you know, as a young boy, and yeah, very fortunate, well looked after. Like every time I got out of jail, I got a penthouse flat, really beautiful, yeah, really beautiful. So it was, but it ended up getting burnt on my birthday. They thought I was in there. I was in Scotland. I've mentioned that, so that didn't last long. And yeah, I seem to always bring trouble everywhere I went, you know, especially with houses and that, you know what I mean? No doubt about it. Um, but I did get round to getting on the property market when I was older in Scotland. I bought a house in Knockin, a wee place in Knockinteba for £28,000 and sold it for 34. And then bought another house, and it's currently getting rented out by my ex, and she's got a wee farmstead and that, and doing really well, you know. And now it's like I say, it's one of the reasons why I'm like able to friendly with like on my ex, and it's not nice for Katie to hear, but I don't talk to them. But you know, I am able to if I wanted to. I'm not enemies with any of them, but this particular one, like she, you know, I never bothered her or like asked for anything. Just left her everything, you know what I mean? Give her everything. You left for the cardboard box, you know what I mean? And that was that. There was never no animosity or anything. So yeah, um, that's what I'm gonna say about that. So that was my experience in the housing game. Um, but like I say, my name wasn't anything near anything or anything. You know, it was all cash I was involved with, and yeah. And then when I got out of the 18, that's when I had to sign on, and obviously I was married and everything. So Sammy had to claim from me because I was living with her, obviously. So that was all new to me. So like I say, um, I don't know much about what some things I do know about, some things I don't know about, you know. So Um, yep. What documentary he's talking about? Let me see if I can catch him. Yeah, well, Lucy, you got me an axe, so I'll give me a wee message, or just give me a wee voice message, and like you need to go see, like we are the worst people in the world, right? People with mental health issues are the worst people in the world for going to the doctors. You got to understand how difficult it is for anybody. Some people leaving the house, and I know you might think, oh, scared. It's not like that. It's my problem, probably Lucy's problem, and I can guarantee this is Lucy because I know a wee bit about Lucy without saying too much, but we're very, very similar guys, right? Went through pretty much the same sort of thing, and when you like, her world is our dogs, right? Believe you me, I know that, and like leaving the house for me was always a case of, will I ever see my dogs again? That's how bad my mental health was. I never knew if I would ever come back because if I got into a fight, I knew I would go to prison because I would never get bail. And we don't get bail once you've been in prison so many times and you've got such a record. Nobody entertains you for bail, so you always get remanded, especially if it's a fight because it's violence. And if they don't remand you and they give you bail, and because you look such a dangerous person on paper, and then they give you bail, and then you do somebody, then all sorts of heads roll because then they go, oh look, he was a violent offender, he's a bank robber, he shouldn't have been put back on the street. So that's the problem I have. So and I imagine Lucy's experienced prison as well, so she has. I know she has. So yeah, once you've got a record because of your mental health, which most people have, most people with mental health problems because of childhood abuse or other things like trauma with grief, will end up having run-ins with the law, because we don't have control of our emotions, and some people rather than cry will be angry, will lash out, and I can't explain that. I can't give you a reason, but that is the common thread with a lot of people that are dealing with trauma and complex PTSD when they are faced with people in the real world outside of their comfort zone and these people speak down to them or are disrespectful, then it goes wrong for them. And it's a really dangerous place. Going to the doctors is going to the shop, so it takes a lot for these, and for me or anybody else. So this is why we have to encourage each other, and especially when it comes to the doctors and hospital appointments, these are the most important things. You've got to look after yourself, you know what I mean? If you want me to help you look after your head and your mind, then you've got to help me help you by looking after your body and the rest of yourself. That's all I'll ever ask you is, there's no point me doing all this and trying to help people and get you through difficult because you can do it. It's not that hard. It's not an injury. You don't need plasters or stitches or any, it's in your head. We can sort it out. You know what I mean? Um, you're bigger than your head. I keep telling you, your wee brother, your wee sister up there, you're in here. That's just the wee brother. I mean, the nonsense, the chaos, running amok, trying to get away with blue murder, telling you as it is, and you're accepting it. So it's just changing that to you not taking none of that, and you telling your wee brother or sister what's happening. And once you get that sorted, it's a step in the right direction. But that's no good if you're not going to the doctors, guys. You've got to follow up on your appointments. And I know it's really, really difficult. So the next time you think about, because I know what it's like, you see the date coming up, and then the date comes up, then even when it's that day, you're watching the time go by. You can see the appointment getting closer and closer. You know it's going by the time where you can make that phone call, where you can cancel it. You know what I mean? You say to yourself, if you don't cancel it, you'll go, but then you don't go, and then you haven't cancelled it, and you feel really bad. Then you don't even phone, you know what I mean? Then you miss the appointment, and they won't. They're not going to go and phone up and check on you guys. They're not going to go, oh, such and such missed her appointment. Let's phone her and see how she is, and make sure she's okay, and arrange no appointment. That doesn't happen. You've got to, you know, as far as they're concerned, they don't look at the mental health, but they just think, well, we've got better times to do. We got you an appointment. You should have made that appointment. There's people out there waiting on appointments, and they just make you feel bad. You know what I mean? And it's just the world we live in, and it's not right. Nothing's right. The NHS is damaged. It's very, very damaged as far as mental health is concerned. Receptionists, everybody in key positions aren't trained properly to deal with people with complex PTSD, people with anger issues. You phone up with doctors, you lose your temper, they hang up on you. They shouldn't be hanging up on people. You know, the whole point of phoning the doctors is mental health as well. And if people are having problems with their temper, how are they meant to get by the reception? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of changes need made and all across the board for things like that. You know, you swear and that's it, they hang up. You know, you're blacklisted on most things, you know what I mean? So you can understand how difficult it is for a lot of people like me, Lucy, and many the rest of you that are here because of mental health, how difficult it is, guys. In so many ways that people don't realize, you know what I mean? So have you ever watched the documentary called Europe: The Last Battle? No, no. Right, I've got it. I'm gonna. I will. I will. Serious bone grafts, full limit restriction for years, mate. No, no, you wouldn't be a reaction for years. You'd be a reaction for a good wee while, but you'll have recovery. You'll have recovery. You know what I mean? And you know, at the end of the day, we're all patriots. You know what I mean? And you're not going to get help anywhere else. So you got to accept help from people around you. You know what I mean? And this is what this is about. You know what I mean? This is about us helping each other. Jeez, oh man. You know what I mean? It's and honestly, this is I'd like to think this is what we're all here for. We're all here to help each other. You know, I'm here to help as many as I can so they can help other people and everybody passes it on and helps each other out because that's the only way we're going. There's no help there for us, guys. We're second class citizens now. So we are. You know, if you don't fit a certain criteria these days, you're having to wait because there's other people jumping the queue because people in power and people in positions who are controlling who gets what, when, and how are scared to say no to some people because of the labels that are being thrown about. And, you know, it's another example of how bad Britain is right now and how far it's gone. Woke, if it's the best way to describe it. You know, what I mean, the whole thing about diversity and there's got to be black people in this and there's got to be black families in that, and we've got to tick this box and we've got to tick that box, and you know what I mean. You've got diversity hires all around the world, and there's evidence that it's causing problems. You know what I mean? People who should be getting the jobs aren't getting the jobs because for some reason they're saying, oh, it's got to be I don't know how to say it, a diversity here. It's got to be a minority, So, and just and there's no that many to pick from because they're minorities, and so they're not always making the right choice. I'm not saying there isn't better minorities out there that can do the job. I'm just saying they're making the mistake. If you've got 100 people better, better equipped to do the job, hands down, but you can't pick them because of the color of their skin or their ethnicity, then you're forced down a road where you don't have as much choice, then there's going to be mistakes made, and it's just gone too far. These are going into jobs that are important. These are jobs that are making big decisions in our country, and I honestly believe that there's people in this country in positions of power that are being biased towards their own, and they're neglecting the people that are actually lived here with mothers and fathers and grandfathers and granddads, and there is like a difference. There is a two-tier that way as well, and it's not something I can prove because they won't give us the statistics, and I don't have the money to pay for the. You got to pay £400 just to be told no. You know what I mean? And it's like and it's I could go on all night about it, guys, as you know. But yeah, yeah, James, I will, mate. I will watch it. I'll definitely give it a shot. I've got quite a lot to catch up on, like so I do. It's been quite good. It's been pretty quiet, Dino being, he's watched Dino being, he's quite good, you know what I mean. But so Dino being, he's been taken off Twitter. His account's been cancelled. He is very close to the mark. You know what I mean? I don't think he's from Britain, guys. I might be wrong. He is from Britain, but I don't think he's staying in Britain. You know, um, he is being honest and all that, but he's just like, I don't like saying this, but he's just I can see where he's going to have problems. You know what I mean? And he shouldn't have. I'm not saying he's saying anything wrong. I'm saying I can see where he's going to have problems. He does need to tone it down, but the problem is I don't think he can. because he's just telling you as it is. It wouldn't work for him, just like me. It just wouldn't work if he was to hold stuff back. And that's the problem. This is the problem we've all got. We can't tell you exactly what's going on because we will be shut down. And that's the fact that, what the government don't want you to hear. They're saying it's misinformation. Like I said in my videos, it's not lies, or they would say you're lying. Misinformation. It's another strange one, isn't it? It's like the Islamophobia thing. It's a tricky wee word, It's like, where did you come from? You know what I mean? It's you've popped out of nowhere for some reason. Fuck's sake. Hi, Linda. Good evening. How are you? I did say I was going to go at 2, but I will stay for Linda because, like, I'm here to have look, Granny's looking after baby, Mummy's making Freedom Dad something to eat, and we're all good. You know what I mean? Everything's good. Boys, tulips on my lap. You can see the back end there. Boys snuggled on a blanket on the floor, and Bailey's up on the couch, keeping an eye on baby. Yeah, it's James. I was calling him Joseph to start with. Yeah, I thought it was like Joseph Cahill. You know what I mean? It's James. Yeah, 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 I'm feeling a lot better. Yeah, yeah. Up the roller coaster. Yeah, it does got a wee fright as well. You know what I mean? Being demobilized. Yeah, and it was weird the way because I have had it sore like that, but I've never been where I've had a slip disc before with a trapped nerve, and that was what it was like. Like as long as I stayed absolutely still, I wasn't in pain, and the pain it was like it was almost like a trapped nerve. It was just unbearable, and I couldn't understand what was going on. I didn't think about the snow. You know what I mean? I did not think because but looking back now, the way I walked with the snow, it makes complete sense. So Katie keeps doing my nothing about getting to see the doctor, because I know once the doctor's x-ray, they're gonna go, how you still walking about? Not because I know the noises it makes. Um, yep, there she is. There she is. I've got my wee stand on it, so I can't really see you. 2 seconds. Come here. There she is, look. She's the baby, and she stinks, by the way. She keeps farting. I don't know what she's been eating. But yeah, she's my fur baby, guys. Oh, my microphone, my microphone. But no, yeah, all good. All good. Long may it last, guys. Come here, head. Come here, head, bird. Oh, I nearly knocked that over there. Long may it last. Because we don't know what's around the corner, do we? But yeah, that's another thing as well. I'd like to think as well, guys. I know I don't. I don't. I live on the breadline, and I'm doing it. Obviously, like anybody that knows me, I've always done all right in life, and I've always been able to duck and dive, and I've done the markets, and I've done the scrap and everything. Obviously, because of my leg, I'm not able to do the scrap anymore. The markets is a nightmare because I'm on my feet all the time, emptying the van, loading the van. Plus, in the winter, standing on the cold surface was hurting my leg as well. So for them reasons, I've had to back off, and I have had other opportunities, which I'm not going to go into, that I'm choosing not to go down. So I'm choosing to live an honest, decent life right now and do everything properly. But with that said, you know, we've had about 300 quid now through the Buy Me a Coffee. And obviously, for anybody that doesn't know, it's to help us with Katie's horse because of the cost. Um, with me not being able to have full, I lost live there, I'm back. Because of going on the full livery and having now to move the horse, and plus we got was it a vet bill for a few quid, but that's not none of your none of the we use guys. But yeah, my videos have cost us money, so that's what that's about. So what I'm trying to say anyway is I'd like to thank like any of my long time followers who I know, who I speak to, who are on X or on TikTok or on anything like that. If there's any a time and you're sitting there without anything or you're hungry or anything like that, I would please expect you to message me, and so I could put a tenner or 20 quid into your account. That's important. I'm no stupid, so I know nobody's going to take the piss out of me. Nobody's going to get one over on me, guys. You know what I mean? I know most of yous. I know what I mean. I do pay attention to the comments and all the rest of it. So, we have built up a relationship. So I'm talking to you guys. If there's any time you are ever stuck like that, please, because I don't like sitting here saying I'm going to have my dinner. Um, I don't like sitting here in heat and comfort and taking it for granted. I'm a very lucky man, very fortunate man. Um, partly because I'm with good people, and partly because I've got God on my side. You know, it's a wealth of things. You know what I mean? So I just want to make that clear. I don't want anybody anytime sitting with nothing ever. And when I'm unalive or anything like that, or you're really stuck, you have to speak up. Because if I haven't got it, I will get it for you. And yeah, the problem is a lot of people won't ask, even when but I expect you to ask me because I know yous are like me. We're all the same. We are all the same. When you go through trauma or you go through mental health or you go through grief, it sort of puts you onto so basically this is where I'm going to let you know. So if everybody goes through life like this, right? Everybody goes through life in a plane. They don't suffer nothing. They have great upbringing, great family. They don't lose anybody. Their mum and dad's there. Their granny and granddad's there. Then they hit 20, 30, they maybe lose their granny and granddad, but the mum and dad's still there into their 40s and that, and everything's good in life. Their kids are okay. Their kids are healthy and all the rest of it. They're on that plane. But when you suffer trauma, I have explained it a wee bit before. When you go down past that plane, right? Because you've went that far down, when you come back up, you don't go back to the same plane. You go up a wee bit higher. So you're on a higher plane. So with that there's good things, and with that there's bad things. But these people will never experience the good things. Remember that. That's for sure. These people on this plane will never experience the good experiences you experience, because you're only experiencing them because you've been down here. You've got to be down there to be able to experience what we experience, right? So, and only you out there has been through this and know what I'm talking about. So you're on that plane. We're all on that plane, if you get me. We're all on the same sort of wee wavelength, the same road, you know what I mean? So that's what makes a difference, where we're able to, like, if we're really hungry, or you're like a couple of days short of getting paid, and you're really looking at the cupboard and there's only a couple of tins of beans, or hanging, a bag of spuds, a loaf of bread, a carton of milk, and whatever. 20 quid's worth of food will get you through a couple of days, you know what I mean? We all know how to do that, easy peasy, you know what I mean? I probably get 4 or 5 days out of 20 quid if I push, you know what I mean, with spuds and rice and stuff like that, and a few other things like a couple of meats and chicken and whatnot, so yeah, it's no big deal, you know what I mean? We will, I wouldn't, and I promise you I wouldn't go online and go, oh, such and such has got no money for food, yeah, can we? I promise you I won't do that. If I do help anybody in any way, I will let my followers somebody's been helped, you know what I mean? And we'll work it out that way. If I need help, I'll let you know. You know what I mean? And so it's about trust more than anything else. And that's the whole. What's that? Did she? She's peed on her granny again. So yeah, yeah. Yep. Yeah, we're all kind-hearted. This is the thing, mate. We're all kind-hearted. And it's really good. You know what I mean? Because I thought I was on my own. I'm really I'm joking. No, I'm joking. No, there's a lot of good people in the world, guys. There really is. Like, um, yeah. So yeah, we're all agreed. That's what it's all about. Um, but it does all boil down to the fact there is help out there, guys. There is food banks and all that. You know what I mean? But that's getting these. What I'm hearing, like, you only get so many, and that now, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's a lot of things. We are struggling in many ways, and I think it is down to us guys to do what we can for each other. And I'm just in a good place right now. I'm in a good place to be able to do this. You know what I mean? I wouldn't imagine anybody's doing this and no being exactly like I am. It just goes with the territory. You know what I mean? It's not about being nice and all that. It just goes with the territory. It's just like it's just like when you make a cup of tea. If you take sugar, you put sugar in it. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? If any one of us were sitting in a group in a house, or even on the phone or in a WhatsApp group, this would come up if anybody's stuck. You know, don't be sitting there with your food. I would, you know what I mean? So why would you not address it like this, you know? And when we really are appreciative, like I say, money as I've got 200 quid out because it takes 5 6 days. It took I think 10 days, you know what I mean? So and that's went straight in the Katie's, and to be honest, she's helped pay a vet bill, and that gives her a wee bit more money to help pay the thing at the end of the day. And it's my way of saying sorry as well. And not that she was like angry. She stood up for me, guys. She really did. You know, she did turn around and say, "What is my man's videos got to do with the colour you're along them lines, what's that got to do with my man? You know what I mean? Because this woman's going on about her. I've got a black daughter, or I've got a black granddaughter, or some mental like that. You know what I mean? And Katie's like, what? You know what I mean? This really was like, because it, I never thought for 1 minute. I really, in my head, I thought everybody knew Tommy Robinson wasn't a racist, and that can be the only thing it can be. I can't think of anything else I've said. I always make myself clear when I talk about illegal immigration and migration and all that, and how I've got friends that are Polish and all the guys that we know that work with us and drink with us, and you know what I mean. And how I bring you that Luna. I can't remember her name, but the Muslim woman I brought you, and I don't say nothing that she doesn't say, you know what I mean? And she's a Muslim, So yeah, and I can bring many cases like that. There's a lot of my friends, Muslim friends, are really, really worried right now because of the way things are going, because the government aren't addressing things, because they are all being tarred and feathered by the same brush. There is a lot of people coming out on the internet that don't have the education, they don't have the knowledge, and they are just going, oh, it's Muslims that are attacking our girls. They're not looking into it properly, you know what I mean? And that's because of the government. That's the silence from the government. You know what I mean? We're not going to lay that blame all at these people's doors just because they're a bit ignorant. You know what I mean? These people are just a wee bit ignorant. They're not. We can't expect everybody to know everything about the way the world works and about religion and Islam and illegal and irregular and all the rest of it and all these new words. You know what I mean? You can't expect people just to awaken one day after watching Sky News, BBC News, and come on the internet and see what we see every day. Because you got to understand what it's like for somebody that's just coming out of the wokeness, and they go on to YouTube or they go on the X, and they're like, "What? Yeah, that will be what it's like for them because they won't be used to it. They won't. They don't know what's going on. They only know what Sky News, BBC News, Channel 4, The Guardian, etc., etc. That's all they know, guys, until they go on the internet. So a lot of these people are getting blown away. I've got friends that have overreacted and everything, but they're just overwhelmed. They're just overwhelmed. You know what I mean? Um, we all have a cross, but yeah, yeah. We have no freedom of speech. We have no free. It is bad. But the whole point of this and us is to try and stop that. And I'd like to think if I ever get taken down, guys, that one of you jump up, or fucking 10 years jump up, 20. I would be amazed if that happened. That's what it's about, you see. And if you can imagine if one of us got taken down, 20 jumped on. Could you imagine what that would be like? And then use 20 jumped off, and every time one of you get took down 20, you know what I mean? Because I would just come back, you know what I mean, with an hour name and catch up with you all, you know what I mean? I'll be on X, and Paz would let you know where I am, and you know what I mean? I'm quite sure British Lorderer, Arthur, any of the YouTubers, if I got in touch with and say, listen, I've been taken off, this is my new YouTube channel, or I'm going to use this platform, it's no big deal, you know what I mean? And yeah, but what I was going to say as well before, I'm not going to finish straight away, guys. If you're happy, I'm happy. What I was going to say, the whole point about monetization, and like, that's not about being different and all that, guys. That this is what it's about. The whole point of the not getting monetization is to have that openness. There's no hidden agendas. There's no clickbait. I'm no being nice, so you'll sit through an advert. Not that anybody's doing that, guys. I just feel because I'm focusing on mental health, because I'm trying to help people, because we're a community, because everybody's welcome. Um, I just think, I don't like it. Right? I'll be honest. I fucking hate it. You know what I mean? I hate Christian. I'll be honest with you, right? I don't like Christian YouTubers monetizing. And I know that is pretty shitty of me to. Sorry. I know that's pretty shitty of me to say, but I just think, you know, there's other ways to give as well. Has like buy me a coffee, you know what I mean? And I just feel personally when I speak, because I like looking at other Christians and other speakers, and there's a disabled guy that I like listening to that is really good. I'll maybe if you are interested, I'll bring it to you. So I'll throw them up in the next couple of videos. Um, but um, whenever I watch it and I'm listening to the Word of God, because they say they're speaking the Word of God, because I believe we can all speak the Word of God. You know, if you really look deep into it, where does your thoughts come from? Could God speak through your words? You know what I mean? When I'm out doing my walk and talks, you know, sometimes when I finish a video and look back at it, I go, I can't, I don't know where it came from. You used to say to me, it's a really good video. Well, I don't know that. You know, I do after I see it. I go, it's not too bad. You know what I mean? Some of them, but I'm always blown away by it. So sometimes I think to myself, maybe I'm getting a wee bit of help from God, and there's nothing wrong with thinking that, you know what I mean? But the point I'm trying to make, guys, is whenever I go on a YouTube channel and I'm watching something like that, and then boom, advert, 26 seconds, you're like, "Oh, come on, man, you know what I mean? Fucking Jesus is making me watch an advert, not without being rude or taking God's name in vain. I'm trying to be a bit funny about it, you know. Yeah, so yeah, that's my thing about monetization. I don't want my message getting lost, and I want to come. I want you to enjoy the content, And another thing I wanted to talk to you about, I keep forgetting about this. Now, pay attention, guys. So, these are all YouTubers. You all watch YouTube. Right, tell me this. Say yes if you've seen it loads of times. Say no if you've only seen it once, but you know what it is, but you've not. It's not bothered you. There's an advert about a frying pan. And as soon as it comes on, he's scrape. I've struggled to tell you. I can feel my head going, whoa. As soon as it comes on, he's scraping a fork into the frying pan. And it drives me mad, guys. I've got things that I can't thingy, like paper. I can't touch paper. I've got a thing about paper, and I don't know what it is. It gives me the heebie-jeebies, right? Especially like brown paper. Really, I struggle to talk about it. But metal's a hard. That drives me mad, guys, and it really does affect me. And I'm thinking, are these? Because I'm an overthinker, as you know. I'm thinking of the government putting this advert out just for me because they know the effect it has. It can trigger stuff. I don't know because it really does make me feel as soon as it comes on, I have to close my eyes and I can't turn it over quick enough because they don't give you a chance. You're watching something and then bang, guys over the fork in the frying pan. So please tell me, is it me or have you seen that as well? Oh, right. Thanks, James. Yeah, that's what it's. Yeah. Basically, but worse. Honestly, it is worse. It's really. I can't explain it. I've been like that for all my life. Papers has always been one all my life. You know what I mean? I've been around metal and all that all my days. You know what I mean? Metal's never. You get that wee squeaky noise you get with metal. Sometimes goes through you, but this is different. This is. I've never had this before, and like I say, unless you've seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, you haven't seen that, Lucy. See what I mean? I'm getting it every single day. Every time I watch a YouTube, every other, honestly, it's there. It's like a non-stick fram. Is this chubby guy talking about it? I haven't seen that, mate, but I know what you mean. Oh, I'm gonna have to try. Right, I'm gonna try and screen record it. Don't say brown paper, lol. Oh dear. Yeah, brown paper, mate. It's horrible. What's the wrong one? Yeah, so that's and yeah, I wanted to get that out and find out if it was just me. Anybody that's watching this that isn't watching it live and you've picked it up, I can't imagine why because it's over 2 hours. But if you have and you've got to this stage and you're hearing this and you know exactly what I'm talking about, please leave me a comment and tell me yes, it's happening to you, or yes, you see this advert. Because I really don't know what to do. I've really been thinking about giving YouTube a break because yeah, I'm not kidding you on, guys, because it really is hard. It's like it's like for something to affect you like that, and the way they do it, it does like. Ugh, I'm not going to go into it, man, because I sound nuts. Sound absolutely nuts. I'll probably start seeing it now. Has anybody seen the number 73 or 37? That's another thing. Lee. Right. So I don't know if Lee's still here, but I'll get Lee. If any are if Lee does a video, throw a wee comment up or something, or I'll ask him to mention it. He'll know. Just say to him, what's the number like around Sparky, right? Just say that, Freedom Dad Sparky. That's my mates call me that, right? So, but just say, yeah, what's the number 73? What's that? Well, and he'll tell you what it's like. So, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I am starting to get in the mindset that it's okay. You know, Katie has been telling me nonstop, it's okay, it's okay, it's good. So yeah, I'm starting to get that. I'm starting to feel like that it's telling me I'm on the right path. I'm thinking right. That's the main thing. My head's in the right place. You know what I mean? Numerology. They sound like phobias. Another good patriot here. Well, Paul. Yeah, all good patriots, guys. We're all good patriots, because it's not hard to be a patriot. All you got to do is love your family, love the family unit, respect, like, all the different, like, because you have gay couples and all that, and all the different things, you know what I mean? Yet respect that. My problem with that is just because they're throwing it at us and we're forcing it on us, and we have a Pride week, and we only have we only have a day for our veterans, and what else do we have a week celebrating? I just think it's a bit strange, you know what I mean? And I know gay people that do, just like Muslims, feel uncomfortable the way it's being portrayed, because you got to understand, not all the gay people, the LGBTQ people, are happy seeing drag queens going into their schools. They're not happy with the puberty bloggers. They're not happy that, this is my opinion, guys. It's for educational and entertainment purposes only. It's only my opinion. I'm not telling you to take anything or not take anything. You got to be very careful with keywords, guys. You know what I mean? So yeah, there is a lot of people in that community that don't support what's being pushed. You know what I mean? So, you know, it is normal. It's okay to feel like that, guys. This is another thing that, oh, you can't talk about that. You know what I mean? And like, you can talk about whatever you want. You're allowed your opinion. It's a God given right. It's in our amendment, sort of thing. You know what I mean? If yeah, you see what Paul puts up. That's true. That's real. That is what we're allowed. You're allowed to do. You're allowed to have an opinion. You're allowed to question things. You're allowed to have opinion about your government as well. This is what they hate. Numbers and symbols are all around. You start looking for them, you see them. Yeah, that's true. But this is the thing, right, Paul? Right? I'm not getting you on, mate. So I turn the TV over to check the score, and it's 73 minutes gone on the football. Turn it over to see the snooker, 73 points. You know what I mean? I pick the phone up, the phone Katie, and it'll be 7:37, either evening or nighttime, and it's constant. You know what I mean? I do a video and I stop it, and it's like 37 minutes. That you just don't see it because I had stuff on. There's all sorts of other things I go, and I know the numbers thing. It's going to be big on YouTube because there's all the numbers, views and likes and all that. I get that, yeah. So yeah, I'm going to rule that out. But like, I am seeing it like too much, guys, far too much. It's like, if everybody around me agrees that it's very strange. Everybody, once you're in my company, and and I'm able to go, look, or they go, what time is it? And I'll go, it's just 37, and that's just constant. That is constant, and I am not looking for it, guys. It is jumping out at me. It's when you turn the TV over, you're checking the score, you're looking at to see how many minutes is gone. Why would it be 73 minutes? Why would it be 37 minutes? Why would the penalty be in 37th minute? Things like that. And it'll always be connected to something I'm doing. If I've got a bet on that game, and to be honest with you guys, this is another one I haven't told you, is right, and this is no word of lie. I've got witnesses. So I done 4 bets last year, and this is no word of lie. 4 bets in a row, and all I'm doing is going one, two, and maybe six, picking 7, 8 teams at all mad different odds, and then putting a fiver on it. And 3 times, one of them was £37 and 37p, right? One of them was £73 per turn. The other one was 37. Um, and one of them was just normal. And you couldn't do it if you tried. You know what I mean? You couldn't do it if you tried. You know what I mean? So yeah, I understand that you will look for these numbers, but it's just a bit too much, guys. You know what I mean? It's very strange. 11th hour of the 11th month. Yes, mate. Yeah. So, what are you doing at the inauguration trumps? Are you going to be watching it in telly? Are you going to be tuning in the YouTube channel? I don't know what Paul. I think Paul's doing something, or somebody's reporting it for Paul. I don't know if Paz is maybe doing it. Is that John away? Catch you later, man. Everyone, good luck. Take care. Yeah, bro. I'll give you a wee. I'll give you a wee call. So well for head round to my own. I'll give you a wee call when I get round my own bit. Um, just checking that. Don't want. If I've missed any messages, guys, just throw it back up again. You know what I mean? I'm gonna start thinking about wrapping up because I can smell my dinner coming. So what I'm having, I don't really do. Like, I've never been one to put food up, right? So I'm just, you know, I'm not going to be too thingy, guys, and not talk about nothing like that. You know what I mean? I've said this, if you're stuck, if don't be going hungry, especially if I'm talking about food. But I'm having spicy hot chicken that I shouldn't be having. It done in the oven, and then it gets chopped up, and then it goes on top of chips with sprinkled cheese and then curry sauce. My mate does it in the snack van, so Katie's trying to replicate it. You know what I mean, for me. So I'm hoping to eat it all. I won't eat it all, but I hope I eat a good bit of it. You know what I mean. Southport court case. Someone looking down on me. I know, John. Listen, I always believed my mum was with me. I don't know if I told you. I got to jail one time. I was in the police station. Right, I was a young man. I think I was about 20. It was the second one. So I was 18, bang on 18, and I just got out after doing a 3 in Northern Ireland. I was out 4 weeks, mate. And I got lifted for an armed robbery in England, a building society. And I can remember standing in the middle of the cell, and I was pretty upset, you know, because everything was going for me. I just got in with this girl, and you know, what I mean, I really liked her, and you know, had a bit of cash sitting about, and everything was going good in life, and yeah, I was in the cell again, you know, and I can remember saying, like the God are speaking out, you know, like in my head, and like, why is this happening to me? Why is he doing this to me? Because I've had a pretty shit time up to now. You got to understand that. And this voice came back in my head and said, "For your own good." Now I don't know. I don't know if it was for your own good, son, or if I've added that on over the years because this is 1988. But what I always know, I know for sure that it wasn't me because I would never have said that. I would never have said it's for your own good, you know. Yes, maybe at 30, when I got to 18, I would understand me going away for a wee while because I was getting close to getting murdered. I was getting close. It was all going to be over. It was getting too close. And yeah, that was for my own good. But yeah, well, dinner has been served, guys. So I'm not going to be rude. But yeah, just before I finish off, make sure I clear everything up here. Um, yeah, so everything's good. Hope you like the wee live. I've enjoyed it. You know, I haven't done a live in a while. Did was going to do one. No, was going to do one. Then couldn't do one. Head was pounding. But that was. I know what that was. Now I can see looking back now. It's all clear as crystal day. You know what I mean? My head was pounding because I hadn't drunk any water because I hadn't couldn't move. You know what I mean? So I just because I couldn't move. I wasn't drinking tea. I wasn't drinking coffee. I wasn't drinking anything. And that whole day, you know, just that's where it was the next day. My head was yeah. I'll not forget that for a while. Like, but go and get your dinner. Thank you, Linda. Make sure go and get your dinner. Good night. Right. Thank you so much, guys. All my love. Thanks so much for popping in again. Yeah, I can't tell you how much it means to me. I'm not going to go on and on about it. I really appreciate it, but yeah, I want to give some love back, and I hope this is helping you a wee bit. Anything you want to talk about, knowing that I'm here, anytime you want to talk about, you know what I mean. I know some of you are tough guys, James, John, all you boys, you're all, and Paul. I know you are all Slango Foil, Akla, and I know these are all tough boys and all that, but you know. I know the score. I'm here if you ever want to chat. You know how to get a hold of me. You know what I mean? Um, I learned that, by the way, Paul, in England. I don't know if you how long you've been here, but yeah, I was good friends with an IRA boy when I was 18 doing a sentence in England, and yeah, we used to write to each other. After we went our different ways, different jails, we used to keep in contact. And yeah, Slango for Clara was how he used to finish his letters off. So it means see you later, my friend. I think I might be wrong. I don't think I am wrong, but yeah. Um, But yeah, thanks very much, guys. Really appreciate everything. And these are all an absolute diamond bunch. And take care and God bless every single one of you. Bye, guys. Nearly, I'm still alive.